Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Game Station podcast. Wow, you guys weren't talking during the intro. That's a serious...
I know, it's proud.
So well done. I'm extremely impressed. Welcome to the show, folks, and once again, doing midweek. That's going to be a theme for the rest of the month, because I am in various places. Going to San Diego this weekend, and then to other places on the West Coast that take entirely too long to fly to. Oh well, we'll deal with it one way or the other. Yes, hopefully sooner rather than later. I may be in LA for a reason which I cannot talk about, but that may also give me an excuse to be there. Welcome, Dodger, to the show once again. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good. I am far more awake than Jesse is, so I think overall, I feel so bad that I woke you up. But at the same time, we have a podcast to do, so...
Yeah, Jesse doing his best pineapple impression in the corner. Welcome once again.
I don't know what happened. I'm kind of cool with it, though. At some point during the night, I was head molested by someone who wanted my hair to look like Chef Gordon Ramsay's.
Success.
And then I got a call from Dodger, who definitely wasn't in the room, fanfic people. Then I ran downstairs and made some delicious coffee, and in it, I put it in my mug for Ormsby Cinema Insane, which is the single worst YouTube channel ever. It's really bad.
Great endorsement.
That's why I fully support it.
The
It's
thing
horrible.
that's confusing for me about that channel is I can't tell if...
He's a crazy person?
Yes!
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 I don't know if he's crazy or if he's like a normal person.
Who's just brilliant.
Yeah, it's weird and strange, and it shouldn't be funny at all to me. You should be worried, but it's kind of amazing. And then he gets people to like join him, and they're like, Sonsby! Cinema Insane! It's like, are these people, are they from a mental institution, or are these real people? You don't know. And that's what makes it awesome.
It's great.
Fully support, 10 of 10.
And Austin's here from Peanutbuttergamer.
Welcome.
How's it going? Doing pretty well. I just answered my own question. I just got a new webcam, so I'm a little freaked out right now because I just watching the stream and every 5 seconds it autofocuses. I can't figure out how to fix it, so I'm just gonna have to like sit as still as humanly possible throughout the entire podcast.
Try not to watch himself. There's got to be a button, dude. There has to be.
There's only one button. It's like a picture of a world and a phone, like it's hanging up. So I just assume that's like the hang up on the world button.
Don't click
that. I don't know what that means. So I just don't get
world for life.
What version of Skype are you using? Like,
no, it's on the webcam.
Beta 1.
It's the button on the webcam.
This is the one we have to pedal. It's pretty bad. It's terrible. Incidentally, we are about 100 users away from passing Dota 2, and this week's game of choice is 4 Winds Mahjong. And that is really awesome. If we get another couple of thousand, we will be past Heroes of New Earth, and S2 Gaming will hate me forever. Success!
Can I just say I love the pictures that wind up spawning from these titles?
Yeah.
So happy.
I'm pretty impressed. I'm not really sure what they can do with 4 Winds Mahjong, but I'm fairly sure that they can find something.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah. We're gonna find out. Fanfic, yes.
Or
fanfic, more accurately. I don't even know. I'm not gonna ask them to do that because I know what will happen. It's just a terrible idea. Let's not do that. Alright, coming up in the show this week, we have the usual discussion of what we've been playing, a roundup of some gaming news, possibly some releases. It's not that exciting a week for releases, so we might actually get through it before the 3-hour mark. We'll see. Also, topics from the hosts, and we'll be rounding off by trying to get you to click our videos and watch us. That's essentially the show in a nutshell. We're very honest. Yeah, we're very honest and open about that kind of thing. So, you know what? Before Jesse gets a chance to hijack it, I'm taking advantage of the fact that he's not quite lucid yet. He's a bit leery. He's essentially Snorlax, yeah? He's just been woken with the poker flute. We're going to get around that by saying, what have we been playing this week?
Whoa! Whoa. Well, I think we've learned a little bit about TotalBiscuit today, and that I never knew you to know that kind of Pokemon lore.
Oh, please.
I'm a little worried.
Of course I do.
I'm a
Who the
little
hell
worried.
doesn't know
It's
that?
part of the original 150, man.
Exactly. It was in the
No, it
first
doesn't-
series
Why
of the
would
cartoon.
you know this stuff?
Yeah, it's totally legit. Honestly.
Got to wake the Snorlax there, friend. Got to break out my flute. I love that. You need to do an entire series where it's like TotalBiscuit presents great moments in Pokemon. Right? And it's like it's you recapping
Yes.
like the original series, the old school games. Like yes. It's like in this episode, Ash Ketchum met his mother for a spot of tea.
I just want to see an incredibly serious
Uh-oh.
Pokemon Snap LP.
I'm eating a Tim Tam.
Oh, yeah. God damn you and having Tim Tams. Those
They
are-
were sent to me by fans.
I don't get the appeal of Tim Tams.
They're delicious.
Okay, it looks like we're
Hello.
back up. Anyway, before you attempt to do that, yes, you're eating Tim Tams. That's awesome for you. I would like to know what certain people have been playing this week. But don't
I
promote
played
that.
Eat the Tim Tam game. They are delicious. I don't know what God made these. Probably the devil, because they're delicious. I'm going by the Judeo-Christian version, not my favorite, the zombie god. Shut up.
I'm not sure what universe we're in right now in the
He's been
conversation.
awake for 15 minutes, and you can
It's
tell.
just-
He's making even less sense than usual, which is upsetting. All right, well, we're back on
It's
the
all
air.
fun.
Everything's reasonable. Dodger, what you been playing this week?
Okay, you're gonna hate me because I've been mostly playing tabletop stuff. I've been like,
Nerd!
I know.
No,
it-
I only hate you because I didn't get invited.
Would you like to fly over and play Catan and Ascension and Magic? Because that's
I
what
have
I've been
Ascension on my iPad, and it's awesome. It's
I have it on my phone. It's a great app. The app works
It's
really,
really,
well.
really nice. That I just want to. Well, let's talk about Ascension before we start, because it would be cool to actually let people know about what that app is and what that game is. So,
Yes.
Ascension is essentially a deck building card game where it's not so much competitive, but you can play up to like 4 players, and depending on victory points, depends on who actually wins. But you start with a really terrible deck, and then you, using the deck that you start with, spend 2 different types of resources to acquire cards for your deck, and to also banish cards away from the main pile.
Yeah, really the only way that you're working against each other is keeping track of what the other person needs in their
Yes.
deck in order to make it stronger.
Mhm.
And so either
Trying to get rid of it.
banishing things that they would want or taking things that they would want. So in that way it's competitive. But for the most part, you're focused on making the best deck that you can so that in the end you have the most victory points. It's so good. I have to say, though, that playing the app has made me like mentally lazier when playing
yes,
the actual
yes.
board game, because the game on the app, it counts for you. It does all of the math for you, so you
Yeah.
don't have to like do any of that yourself, which when I finally actually sat down to play the tabletop version again, I was like, I have to think way more than I'm used to again. But the game is really fun. I think that it's hard to explain it in a way where people understand how fun it is, but I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it is a bit difficult to explain. The difference between the app and the tabletop is also mostly time. You can actually finish a game of the app in 5 minutes because
Yeah,
it does
that's true.
everything for you. Like it really does. It does all of the counting and the distributing of the decks, and it takes much longer to do desktop-wise. But it's definitely worth grabbing on iPad or iPhone. I don't know if it's on Android. Hopefully it is, but it may just be on the App Store. It is a nice game, though.
It is. It's great. And they have the expansion on there now.
Yes.
So you can like,
something
update and get the expansion
Return of the
if you-
Fallen, I believe it's called, and it's
Yeah.
definitely worth getting that because, well, there's 2 problems with the original game. It's got really bad music, and it doesn't have enough cards. But if you get the expansion, it fixes both of those problems. So yeah, it's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, and the expansion has cards that have entry bonuses, so once they like come into the center
Yes.
area, everybody either gets something taken away or something given to them, which is an interesting element that gets added to that.
Yeah, very true.
But the thing that I don't like is that it has a timer. Like it lets you, if you don't take the time to make the amount of time that you have to complete your moves infinity, then it'll just end your game if you don't complete your moves in time, which is upsetting when it's an app because you forget about it and you have things happening, and then when you go back, you've lost.
Yep.
So.
Wow, looks like Valve got a little bit upset. We passed Dota 2 and then suddenly Twitch delisted us from the games list. Ooh,
Oh, no!
Gabe's mad by the looks of it. You know, I should just actually list it as Dota 2 and double our audience. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
I'm pretty sure that it wasn't them, but it was the fact that your conversation was so fucking boring
Wow.
that they delisted us
Oh,
permanently.
I'm
because
sorry,
no one gives
Jesse.
two
Maybe we should
shits
talk about the
your game.
simplistic games that you like to play. Let's talk about Minecraft, shall we? Essentially, the grown-up version of Lego with an even more immature audience. You know, I walked into the Lego store yesterday in the mall around this area, and actually the contents of that Lego store, you know, the kids that were in there, were significantly more eloquent and more mature than your average Minecraft fan, and I was very impressed by that. In fact, I even went to the Duplo section. That's where the toddlers are, by the way, and I got more sense out of them than I got from your average Minecraft fan. So why don't we talk about that wonderful game?
Why are you acting like... All right, first off, I know there's some confusion between Simon and myself, but why are you acting like I give two shits?
RPG makers, you
take
play
that
Minecraft. You have
Minecraft.
you have Minecraft on your channel, and as everybody knows, once you have Minecraft on your channel, you
That's
never
all-
go back. You can never escape.
True.
All people ask for is more Minecraft. It's true.
Oh my god!
Go on, continue.
He's probably just eating too many Tim Tams. He's not actually
Yes,
that
yes.
upset.
He's
No,
broken.
all right.
That was the last straw.
That was last straw. Table flip and the podcast.
It's alright, you
Good.
barely made it here anyway. We probably wouldn't miss you if you just left. It'll be fine. I'll just put on a picture of your maid again.
It'd probably be a better show. Let's be honest. No, I actually remember seeing this week that for the very first time, someone was creating a Lego adult film. So that's the thing.
What is it called? Does it have a pun name? This is
I'm sure it does, but I don't. I just remember reading an article that it was like essentially the way it is it's a kid. This is what's creepy about it. It's a kid being a young lady, right? Who's not young at all, who looks young, who's hired for her young looks, playing with Legos. Why I don't know. And then like it zooms in, and it's like people dressed like Legos doing it.
What?
And that's kind of the best thing in the world. I
What?
that is hilarious.
Why?
On all
I
levels.
really want to see this.
Wait, is this the game that you've been playing? I'm
Yes.
Nick now.
This is him. This is what he does. He is brought
I
onto
was
this
up
show
all
to
night,
move us
like,
away from
do
the
it,
topics.
Legos. That's Minecraft. by
It's
the way.
Minecraft porn.
Minecraft-
That's essentially what it is.
That's
Minecraft.
usually what I do when I play. I mean, sounds
Yeah.
normal.
There's nothing else to do in the game, so might as well.
No,
I'm not good
actually,
at building anything, so might as well.
last night I might have pissed off some Minecraft fans because I said it's one of those games that eventually it like has a lot of promise, but will never achieve what it's promised to be. Like eventually you can't do like in your mind you're like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make this awesome world, I'm gonna do all this stuff, but eventually there are limits
doesn't
to its
matter.
greatness.
At the end
Yeah,
of it,
yeah.
it just doesn't matter. It's like I've built the biggest castle. It doesn't matter because the NPCs don't interact with it, other than creepers essentially running into the walls. It's
Yeah, there's it's an open world where in your mind it's gonna be an amazing like awesome game, but
Yeah.
unless you're like do super mods and stuff and all, like it really can only achieve so many levels of greatness. So I think that's what we're trying to do with like the mod we're making for it. But honestly, like the actual game itself it can only do so much. After a while,
as a game, it's not a good game.
it's fun. It's just it's people make it out to be like some great innovation. Like not really.
No.
It's just something fun to play.
There's blocks.
I'm
The most
tired.
fun I've ever had with Minecraft wasn't building anything or anything like that. It was getting a group of friends together, and what was that patch they released where you could get to like not the Nether, but you could like set up. You go through a portal and you go through these mines and stuff, and you go to this other world.
I thought that was the Nether.
And you could like you
Yeah,
could fight-
I'm describing what sounds like the Nether, but it's not what I'm trying to describe at all. Like you have to kill all the Endermen and get the pearls, and like you follow this I only did it one time, so my memory is a little bit
Yep.
shaky on it. But
Basically,
that was the most fun thing.
the story in the game they added,
Yeah,
which
basically.
is like
end
1/8 as
is
good
what it's called.
as some of the user-generated content, which I guess is kind of the point.
Yeah.
But yeah, the actual game itself is not that terrific, but the stuff people have created is what keeps the game going. So
Yeah, to be if you want to do the whole adventure with friends, go down to the depths and fight increasingly difficult monsters to get loot and stuff, you want to be playing Terraria, because that's all that game is. The building
I've
element of
actually
Terraria is
always wanted
weak.
to play Terraria.
I have yet to play Terraria as well.
It's
I got killed by a unicorn.
Yes, he
Yay!
did. Yes, he did. Unicorns are surprisingly dangerous in that game, but yeah, Terraria is just much better for that. And there are, well, Starbound is it Starbound? I think it's called something like that. That's the one of the team from Terraria is making a new game, which is in space. It's Space Terraria.
Oh, bounders.
I approve.
Yeah, it's looking
Really,
pretty
most space things I approve of.
pretty reasonable. Austin, what have you been playing this week?
Well, I'm always playing League of Legends. Even when I'm trying to take a break from the game, I always end up playing a couple games here and there. Also, I picked up Tribes. Been playing that.
Tribes, you say?
I just got this in the mail today. It's the most hardcore game of all time. Harvest Moon, Tree of Tranquility.
Oh, God. So glad
That I haven't actually started playing it yet.
Oh,
I got it
Harvest
because
Moon
I was
the way
thinking
out.
about doing something with it, but I'm not closet. Who am I kidding? I'm incredibly an open Harvest Moon fan, but it's kind of my guilty pleasure. And you have a mask on, okay?
Don't even acknowledge
on.
it. You
No.
want
Just
I
throwing me off
Past
completely.
it.
So the game that I
Watch
started
it,
replaying. I started replaying one of my favorite games I've ever played. Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic, the first one. And I beat it a long time ago, but I really had a sudden urge to just pick that game up again. It was Game of the Year for like 2000. Anybody remember?
It was Game of the Year for something, anyway. Yeah, the original Knights. I'm one of those weird people that thinks that Knights 2 was better.
I don't understand the complaints about the second game. I thought it was great, but I'm not sure which I prefer. I kind of hold them equal, I guess.
This entire video is just going to be mask after mask after mask.
The Sworders have our flag.
Mm.
Curse those
Nice one.
and their treachery.
I have a question, actually. Have any of you guys played Trials yet?
Which one,
It's
Evolution or HD?
Evolution.
No, I haven't, but I am actually told that it's fantastic.
That's
Is
what
that
I've
true?
been told as well. But it's Xbox exclusive, right? I haven't been able to play it.
Yeah, I do need to get a hold of it, because it's weird that they took it down the direction of Little Big Planet. It's like, hey, make your own games. Like, what?
Totally.
This is not actually what I play Trials for. I play Trials to be ridiculously frustrated and shout at my monitor, then never play Trials again. That's what it's for.
you play Trials to like massage that OCD part of your brain that resets the game over and over again because you made that one small mistake.
Jesus.
Yeah, I've been hearing that it's really good, and I'm like, do I want to go down that path? I'm really glad that I don't just have an Xbox sitting around because I'd be screwed.
I'm just trying to figure out how we actually got to Trials. Was it just because it sounds like Tribes? Was that our little link through to that?
Yeah, I think so.
I see.
I just started thinking about it, during the mask silence. So
I would have none of that. I am above
Go
TV's
on.
immaturity.
truly, yes.
Truly, his immaturity is detriment to this podcast, and I feel that he should perchance to dream of growing up, because if he is the leader of this ship of fools, I feel like we are doomed to be washed ashore the rocks of embarrassment.
It looks like the stream died again. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You're amazing. I think you killed it. I'm pretty sure you killed it. Twitch is just like, screw this. Screw this. I'm not taking this anymore.
Oh, Christ.
Oh my god, amazing. Yes.
What the hell have you done to my stream? hell is going on?
And there's the Skype messages again. The stream is down.
Oh my God.
The sorters have our stream.
Amazing.
Retrieve our stream. Let me. Good lord. Alright, I'm restarting the sodding thing.
Holy shit, is that funny?
Amazing.
I'd love to know what's causing that. Let's see if we can get it back. It's because before that happened, you were also going crazy on Skype, which
Who?
you were sounding robotic, which indicates to me some kind of bandwidth problem.
Oh no.
Which there really shouldn't be. Let's see if we can get back on air. This is just going to be one of those shows.
Oh, I think we're back.
Are we back?
I think it's
Alright. Okay, good. Looks like we're back.
Voices-
Anyway, let's just pretend
Like
that
we
nothing
said earlier.
happened.
I say
No fun,
say
something
that needs to be included in the video on demand because
Absolutely.
that might be the greatest speech I've ever given.
I think we
The
got half
internet
of
will
it.
never
I
see
think we
it.
got half of it.
No one knows. No one knows how eloquent
No one will
you
know
got.
that came out of my
And that's
Cock
probably for
hole.
the best. Honestly, it's
Cock
probably for the best.
whatever.
Oh, dear.
I'm so happy that I got to scold the TotalBiscuit.
You
For his
try,
immature.
at any rate.
I like that it's always your fault. When the stream crashes, we can typically blame you.
Yeah.
Because I usually say something so mind blowing that people are like, whoa,
The stream is just like,
whoa.
You kicked
Yeah.
us off the internet. That's how it went.
upsetting.
You know what? I want to talk a little bit about Mortal Kombat on PS Vita. Yes, that thing. This thing.
Oh,
This
please
thing.
do.
Yes.
Go on.
So, those of you who own one of these things, or maybe you don't, probably know that there's been no good games since launch. Like, the launch lineup was pretty good. It had stuff like Ultimate Marvel, which ran really, really well. It had Rayman Origins, which is really, really good. And it had a bunch of other games that were not so shabby. But then again, it also then had about a month and a half to 2 months of nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not helpful. But finally, they released that. It's Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat on the Vita. I don't even know why they have boxes, because this is the size... This is how big a... God damn it. This is how big a Vita game actually is. To scale with
It's
the
like-
box...
It's like an SD disc, right?
Yeah, it's tiny. It's bloody tiny. There's also no manual in these things at all, by the way. That's
Oh, good.
the side. You see?
That is an
What is the
excessive
point
use
in
of
this?
plastic.
What is the point?
Here's the game. Do it.
Yep. That
Wait. So is
not-
Mortal Kombat? That's the one where it's all the commercials I see where it's the half naked, whatever her name is, Kalina, Jelena, Jafonda, whatever her name is, the one,
Jafonda.
Jump on.
Uh,
That's
the
the,
one-
DLC.
the
Jafonda.
one princess with the fans, whatever her name is.
Katana?
Katana.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wait, doesn't she have the other ones? No, or whatever.
No.
Katana,
Katana
has
has
the fans.
fans.
Melina has the like crazy.
Okay, well then it's
Shopping.
Katana, and she's like on top of a building, like half naked, pole dancing, and it's like Mortal Kombat 2, take it with you anywhere.
That
Oh, wait.
that's essentially what it is. Yeah.
That's
But-
pretty much That's pretty much
Yeah.
I did
so,
not see those commercials. I feel
And
like
it's
I
live
missed out
action,
on a
so
really
it's like some smoking hot.
important
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She needs to be in more stuff. Whoever that actress is, hire her. World.
So
I'd
the
watch
version of Mortal
TGS.
Kombat for the
Like
for the
TGS.
Vita, it's got all of the DLC characters. It's got all of the DLC costumes. So all of the alternate stuff for loads of different characters. It's got a new challenge tower, which is 150 new missions, which is a fairly big deal. And of course, it's got multiplayer and all that stuff. But the most interesting thing about it is the fact that it's got 2 PSP-specific mini-games. And those of you who played the original know there was stuff like test your might, and test your strike, and test your luck, which was the best thing. Because that was a
Right.
little slot machine game where you got given a bunch of random buffs and weird stuff, like you could have headless combat, armless combat, randomly get struck by
I
lightning
love
combat,
that stuff.
narcoleptic combat, everyone is a zombie with lasers combat, and things like that. That was the best way of playing it. But there are 2 new mini-games. One's test your balance, and the other one is test your slice. I'm going to try and demonstrate this, because this is essentially Fruit Ninja with heads. Alright,
Sounds like my perfect game.
Oh, we get to watch it?
It's going to be very difficult
We
to
already
play
saw
from
it,
this
Jesse,
angle.
You missed it.
Yeah,
were
you weren't
asleep.
here, man. You missed out.
This is high technology.
Yeah, it really is. Hang on, where's the stop button? All right, this is going to be difficult to play when I can't see it, but we're going to give it a try.
I'll do the music.
I hope you get a perfect score while not looking.
Yeah, he's bluffing.
Which button is it? This one. Okay.
The circle
Mortal
one.
Kombat. Beep, beep,
Black button.
You are horrible.
It's
Oh my
it's
God, those
backwards.
heads.
It's backwards. How the hell am I supposed to do this?
Get in the middle, get in the middle.
Put a
Move your
bomb.
hands to the middle.
I
Yeah,
think-
no.
No, just
I
bombs.
think it'll be better if you
No,
don't
use two
actually try to
fingers.
aim.
Bomb,
Use two
bomb.
fingers.
Oh no!
Use two fingers.
let's
Three
just-
if you have to.
No.
Get 'em in there.
Let's go like this.
There, it's got. See, it's just. Those bombs. Bombs are bad.
This is possibly the worst game of Fruit Ninja heads I've ever
It's
seen
yes.
played.
Anyway, that's Test Your Slice, folks. We're not going to play any more of that. But yeah,
You get the
it,
point.
yes, you get the point.
Suggest that
I
you
don't even know
go
why
on
it's
to
there.
just that.
I don't even know why it's there, but it is. It's Fruit Ninja with Mortal Kombat characters' heads that you slice in half. It's part of the game for whatever reason. It's just called me a failure. I don't like that. But the actual game itself plays really, really well. It's 60 FPS, which is good. They've dropped kind of graphical fidelity just a little bit. The character models aren't as detailed. Looks a little bit jaggy in places, but it's still as fast, and it's still a full-featured game, which is really what I wanted out of it.
The Vita gets better frame rate than an Xbox 360.
In places, yeah. Yeah, it's full 60
Like-
FPS. and-
Like the best I've seen on 360 was like a good solid 30 on a lot of games.
No, I mean, fighting
Like,
games
even 60.
are always 60. You can't have a fighting game play at 30, it would be horrible, because the frame times would be all off. So no, they all play at 60, but it's a handheld that also plays at 60, which is fairly unbelievable. And it's nice, it really, really is, except for the fact that if you try and do a tag special, the controls require you to... Let me try and demonstrate. This is going to be even harder, isn't it? All right, okay, so for tagging in, you use this, right? You get back here. What the hell? Stupid thing powers off all the time. All right.
It's like he's playing with a pet.
Yeah, you see this. Right, okay. So you use the right stick, but you've also got to press one of these buttons. No, other button. This is the right stick. There we go. I'm backwards. Okay. You use this stick, you hold down one of the buttons, and you also press this. That's impossible.
Wait,
Like-
you have to do all of that to tag
To
in?
do a tag special. To do a tag special.
Oh,
it's
okay.
impossible to do without using essentially both of your hands. You can't do it. So you try and do it, you use one hand, and then you drop the Vita on the floor. And then it tags you out. So that's a special feature.
That's a function of the game.
That's totally
It's
totally planned.
Working as intended.
Yeah, it's a bit meh. Oh well.
Would you say that that's like the biggest mechanics issue, though?
Yes, that's the only mechanics issue. Everything else works fine.
Sweet.
Plus, you can change the controls around anyway and try and figure out something that works better. It doesn't have enough buttons, essentially.
Right.
So,
I can't do combos in fighting games anyways, so if no one else can do combos in fighting games, that kind of like brings me to their level. I'm kind of cool with that. I see what they're doing. It's
Agreed.
for new players.
yeah.
It's for players who are so bad at fighting games that they won't figure out how to do it anyway, so it's just impossible.
Yeah. There is also a touchscreen control mode, which will let you just pull the fatalities off that way, but it doesn't work in the
like-
challenge tower or anything. Like, it doesn't give
It was
you that
like they did
functionality in
on,
any mode that
the
matters.
3DS Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
remember
exactly.
I used that so much. If I was feeling lazy, I was like,
The problem
I'm
with
winning.
the problem with the Street Fighter and the 3DS is that the controls are too small to comfortably play it without getting severe hand cramp.
Yeah. It wasn't so bad for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And after that.
That it really hurts. Just like that, yeah. Dead or Alive was good on 3DS though. That worked well because you just had to use the stick for that, so that was totally fine.
Oh, Dead or Alive. Yes.
It was a pretty good game. But yeah, Mortal Kombat is out now on PS Vita, and it's pretty good. I'm enjoying it.
That's good. Good to know.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jesse. We're on topic. I know you're not used to this, but that's what we're supposed to be doing right now.
My guard is down. I don't know what's happening.
He's barely
I-
awake. It's great.
I can't keep up. All I know is that I see Dodger going like, like some kind of like ridiculous velociraptor.
This is how you play games. This is the gameplay for the
Not a thing.
PS Vita.
Why am I
PS
imagining
Vita.
that scene?
Test
from
your
Jurassic
slice.
Park? From Jurassic- where
This
he's like,
is gameplay. That's my review of Mortal Kombat head slicers. This is how you do it.
That's a good
"That's not
tutorial.
Velociraptor, they're too
It's,
smart.
yeah, it's a tutorial.
I just imagine raptors, instead of opening doors, they're just playing PS Vitas. Like,
Yes.
I
Oh
think
my
one of them beat
God.
me at Mortal Kombat yesterday.
Perfect.
Oh god. All right, has anyone played anything else this week? Because if not, I'll just ramp through the list of games that I've been playing.
no,
No.
this week I had a great, like, I got this because I'm a big lore nerd. So I got like the Order, the new Diablo
Oh,
book.
sheezy.
So, are you saying you ordered the order?
Haha!
Aha! Wordplay!
It takes place like before Diablo 3, so I was like, I have to find out what's going on. And then because I got some deal on Amazon, I got the Diablo 3 mouse with it, which is kind of awesome, except the mouse is like the most dysfunctional thing in the world.
No.
So there's buttons on the sides, both sides. And for some reason I have a
Hang on.
claw hand when I
Hang on.
click.
That's just a Zai. That's all it is.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Which is why I got it for free, probably. So anyway, it's well, it looks cool. It has like the angelic symbols and stuff on it, which is kind of neat.
Which you won't see under your hand.
Right. But the thing is that on the side, there's two buttons here, two
Yep.
buttons there.
Uh-huh.
But they're parallel to each other, and I'm not used to that. So when I squeeze one side button, I get like my hand cramps the other side button as well, and so two things go off at the same time. Note to self: not a big fan of that. I dislike the buttons on either side. Not a fan.
I've never been able to like actually utilize side buttons. I'm not a fan of them.
Yeah, I don't
I
use
hit them when I don't mean to.
Oh, that's okay, because then you have this monster. Which
Oh,
is,
good.
Oh,
Yay.
yes.
There it
Well,
is.
yeah. This totally useless. I don't know why I got this. It's somewhere.
I actually did
said,
use that.
I can use this for MMOs. It'll be useful. I think I used 3 of those side buttons. The rest of them are total waste of space.
Yeah,
Whatever.
reaching all the way down to the bottom row is extremely painful on my thumb. It's not an option. You can't use.
Who has the tiny hands to use one of these? Like, but you don't. CBS, because you play games like Velociraptor.
It's really useful. It's gonna be the best mouse ever.
10 out of 10.
Is that how you use a mouse?
Game of the
All right,
year.
look, I'm not saying you're doing it wrong, but if this is how you use a mouse, then we got issues. Why did it not work good?
Oh my. Oh dear.
Mhm. Ah.
I'm a little bit ADD, but I finally fixed my autofocus.
Yes.
So
Yay!
while you guys were talking about velociraptors, I'm over here like waving at my camera
I
like.
was seeing that. I couldn't
I did
tell
see that. I
if
was
that
wondering if
in
you wanted to
response what you
contribute
were
to
talking about.
conversation, but
No, that's just me doing my thing over there. I'm
Oh, I
just doing
see.
my thing. But yeah, I finally fixed it. I tried to fix it before the podcast, but I just glanced over the chat. People were chewing me out for it, so I was like, gotta step up my game, figure it out.
Gotta
But-
rise.
but-
Rise
but,
to the occasion.
Put all the tricks and turn off autofocus. It's really complicated.
I'm glad you didn't press the hang up button. That would have caused problems.
Oh, that would have been depressing
Hang up on the.
We would never have gotten you back. You would have disappeared
Nope.
for life.
Yeah.
forever.
Nope.
I would have been too ashamed to even rejoin the call. It would have just been over.
Yeah, that would have been it.
Gonna grab the Ben and Jerry's. and
Ruined-
sit on the
ruined
couch
your
for the rest of
chance.
the day.
We'll replace you with the Angora rabbit again, just like we did Husky.
I would have spread rumors that you were offended by Dodgers' horrible gameplay.
It would be true, actually. I'm just offended. I'm an elite PC game.
Oh, I see.
And
Go on.
very hardcore, and I don't
you?
crap. You're not doing it right. I don't put up with it. Okay, I forgive you if you're gonna do
Oh,
that.
good. Can we be friends again?
The stream went down again.
Yeah, it did.
No way! No way! What? Apparently it went down right when I said I'm going to spread rumors about you.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's causing it. It seems to be some kind of bandwidth issue on my end, which is really
Are you
unfortunate and doesn't make
uploading?
any sense.
Oh dang! I was torrenting all my porn right now. I didn't think that was
God,
gonna make it.
God damn it. It's okay. I've got a local recording running. Like, the VODs are not going to realize until we say, oh, it's broken again, guys. So I'll just have to try fixing it every
Who's
time it goes
hosting the
down.
call?
I think I'm hosting the call.
Well, maybe
Oh,
I
Dodge-
should host it.
The problem with you hosting it is I'm going to have to move everything around again. So why don't we wait to the break before we try doing something like that?
Okay.
Anyway, yes. Back to the point. All right, other games. I've been playing Torchlight 2. That might be worth talking about a bit, I guess.
I now you have to explain to me because I could never get into Torchlight because in my estimation, which is probably completely inaccurate since I've never played one, I always just figured it was like sort of a Diablo knockoff.
Well,
It
if
kind of is. I mean, I
Think about
played
it.
it. I liked it though, so I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
it's a Diablo-style game. There's no question about that. But at the end of the day, it's also made by the people that made Diablo, whereas Diablo 3 isn't.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, that's
true.
usually a fairly large advantage, I tend to find.
Point. All right.
Yeah.
Zinger.
The original
Yeah,
Torchlight, well, it had a couple of problems, honestly. One, it was too easy, but of course then that was kind of modded and changed, and it had some issues later on in the game. But it was a $20 game, and if you waited, that game's been on sale more times than I can imagine. It's been $5 about 5,000 times on Steam, so there's really no reason not to have it. And now it's a case of Torchlight 2, all the features you wanted from Torchlight, still $20. So, like, I think it's 6-player multiplayer, and all the modding, and more. It's got one more class. They actually completely redid the classes as well, because it used to be, I think Rogue, Alchemist, and Warrior or whatever. It's now Engineer, Ember Mage, Berserker, and Scavenger, I think.
Is there no paladin?
There is no Paladin. You can kind of be a Paladin. I
just have a love affair with paladins, and everybody's like
What,
ditching.
what is the well, Diablo 3 I like the paladin that they utilize where he's just like a companion dude. And
Yeah.
he's
Oh, I
like
haven't looked at the
overzealous and
companion.
ridiculous. He's like, "Oh, smash! Oh, John, I'll kill you with the power of light." He's kind of a douchebag.
He's the
but
dark side of the paladin.
I'm interested in. I like how instead of fire mage, it was
Ember
ember
mage.
mage.
I
That's
know,
kind
right?
of badass. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
really
not
good.
even you don't even have to use fire either, because it uses the same kind of talent tree system as the first one, which is 3 different talent trees, but they've really gone all out in saying each talent tree might as well be a different class. Like, the engineer is, you start off with a big 2-handed wrench, and you're like, I am a 2-handed warrior, but I'm called an engineer with a freaking wrench for whatever reason. I don't really know why that is. But you go along, and is when you get your first talent point, you go into it, and there's one tree, which is, I think, called construction, which is essentially, I want drones and turrets and pets and things like that. And then there's another one, which is essentially tanking, and then another one, which is, I have a 2-handed mace. One of the talents I liked was called Giant Weaponry Specialization. It's like, all right.
What? Awesome.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's
creative.
it's like, big 2-handed thing, big polearm, and then cannon. It's just like cannon, actual cannon, a giant cannon that you can carry around, and
On a pole arm?
I think so.
Whoa. So you
I'm
have
trying
a
to see how
giant
that
pole
works in
arm,
my head.
and at the end of this giant pole arm, rather than like a point of a spear or some type of
It's
like
just a
trident,
cannon.
it's
It's a
just
humongous
a
cannon.
cannon. A giant.
So I
cannon.
guess you could call this thing a gun almost, and not actually a pole arm, because
That's
it is in fact. A
It's
cannon.
gun.
Just
It's
the
gun on a
general
stick.
projectile.
It's a gun on a
kind
stick.
of amazing. Kind of amazing.
It's. I've only played a little bit of it so far. It's once again pretty lighthearted in the same way that the original was. It's got the nice cartoony graphic style. Things have a tendency of exploding into lots of blood and pieces, which is good. That's what you want from a Diablo-style game. You want to be able to sweep with a big weapon and then have something like that happen. There's more pets. The ferret with the goggles has made its reappearance. There are a number of different companion pets you can now have. You can pretty much teach them spells from the very start of the game, so you can have them cast fireballs, and they can also, there's now a shopping list where you can tell it to go back to town and then get you certain amounts of different kinds of consumables. So you just press one button, it runs off to town, and it comes back with the consumables you need.
Wait, the
and things like
shopping
that.
list does?
Yeah, it essentially does this. Actually, this is an accurate simulation of what it
Felt
does.
Like a good,
No. It does that.
Isn't it romantic?
Bollocks.
Isn't it wonderful?
So
how
now that
TV's
TB
getting
is
some?
dead, attacked by an alligator, who's the host?
From an
Go back to
alligator.
town and
Who's
sell my
promoted
stuff.
now?
God damn it. Ow. God damn it. Anyway, so yes, it can bring you things like this mana
like
potion.
water?
I'm not endorsing Propel, by the way. There we go. This mana potion. This
It's
mana potion. And it could also leave and sell your stuff. So it's pretty nice.
TB officially living in a dream. This mana potion.
Says the guy that got up 20 minutes ago and has barely contributed anything so far.
Hey. Give me time to work into my groove.
He has
Like
no groove.
Stella.
I think you're pretty in the groove right now.
Thank you.
Austin isn't impressed by it. I know that he sees past your veil, your mist of
I was
charisma.
almost impressed with the big speech, but then it killed the stream, so I was like,
No.
nah. It
That
just
Yeah.
may
don't
be
work
the
for
greatest
me.
speech I've ever given. That was my. I don't know. That
Your
was my like.
opus.
Today is our Independence Day.
That wasn't even a good speech.
I know, which is why I'm not gonna say that was like a king's speech. It was more like the president in a mediocre 1990s alien movie.
It was fairly abysmal, honestly.
Yeah.
It was fairly abysmal. All right,
Shout
before we
out
round up,
one voice.
anyone else want to talk about one more game? Austin, anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know. I tried to talk about KOTOR, and nobody had anything interesting to say about it, so I don't want to.
Let's talk about KOTOR again. Let's do that. Yeah, we managed to derail your KOTOR conversation. So you were playing KOTOR 1. Why were you playing KOTOR 1? More to the point.
I have no idea. It was just sort of dawned on me. I need to play KOTOR 1 again, and so I did.
It's just one of those things that you wake up. It's like, my God, I need to play KOTOR.
Basically, it came to me in a dream. And in the dream, there was a couple cute girls, and they came to me, and they were like, "Play KOTOR." And I was like, "Okay."
You need
That's
to
all they
dream
did.
A bit more creatively.
That's all they
Like,
did.
If there's a couple of girls in your dream, and all they say is like, "Play KOTOR," you need to get out more. I'm just saying.
I just get so many girls in real life that I don't even
Oh,
need to
okay.
bother
I
dreaming about
see,
it,
I
you
see.
know?
All right.
That's basically how it is.
Mhm.
So in real life, it's like, whoa, and in your dreams, it's like,
man.
you chill out. In your dreams, you have tea time. You play
That's
chess
my
with Abe
resting
Lincoln.
time. That's my resting time. I'm so full of it right now. So full of it.
But yeah, I'm one of the guys that says that KOTOR 2 is a better game, even with all of the bugs and things like that. I just think Obsidian's writing is better. BioWare makes better characters, generally speaking, but Obsidian just writes better. The writing in even Alpha Protocol, which was, in my opinion, a terrible game, but that was only because it was released too sodding early, that had some great writing in it. KOTOR 2 had some fantastic writing in it. I just want more Chris Avellone stuff, essentially. And
Kreia was a good character. Though.
Kreia was a great character, but
Yeah,
I'll be
Kreia
damned
made
if I...
that game.
Yeah, but I'll be damned if I can remember any other character in the game other than
Yeah,
Kreia.
I really don't either. I just remember Kreia.
Yeah.
It's been a few years since I played it. That was KOTOR 2 was Kreia, the game, really.
Yeah, it was. It essentially was. And she was fantastic. Aside from some of the really well-written novels, and I say really well-written because most of them are just, well, not, she looked at the kind of gray areas of the light and dark side stuff way better than anything else. Star Wars has always been suited to BioWare because BioWare is incapable of doing morality outside of white and black. Like, they do it Fable
That's my biggest
style.
problem with Mass Effect.
Yeah. Even the whole Paragon Renegade thing is for the most part still black and white. It's like
I hate my biggest problem. I remember specifically with Mass Effect 2 is like you can't do all the cool stuff. Like I would prefer to be neutral and just sort of like make my own decisions. Like okay, it might not be super cool to blow this guy up, but I kind of need him dead. So just use your own logic and just kind of be neutral. But the problem is if you do that, you can't do all the cool stuff later in the game because you don't have enough Paragon points,
Right.
or you don't have enough Renegade points. so you can't like get everybody's loyalty, and you can't do cool stuff. So that's what bugs me. The only thing really that bugs me about Mass.
Yeah, being neutral in a BioWare game is never beneficial. Even the Old Republic MMO. The first thing people asked is like, well,
Yeah.
I'm trying to play a neutral character, and yet it
He
benefits
uses
me. Yeah, exactly. You can't use the weapons, the armor sets, because you need like light or dark level 1, 2, or 3. And they said, right, well, we'll probably put in some gear for neutral. So it's like, right,
Probably.
so then, but then essentially it's barely even a choice, is it? But yeah,
Well-
BioWare games do it really, really badly, whereas Obsidian games, well, don't. They do it much, much better.
The decision they make when they did that, the decision for Star Wars: The Old Republic, was when, I guess, somewhere along the development road, they decided that rather than have like a neutral, roguish like area you could be, you can level up both light and dark side, which I guess was like their reasoning, like, oh, it's okay, you can be both full light and full dark
But you
by the end of
can't.
the game.
You can't.
You can.
Really?
Yeah. What it is like it balances itself out. So if I have 500 dark side points and I get 100 light side points, I have 400 dark side. Like, but on your screen it still has you at like 5. Like it's weird balancing metrics. Yeah, but there is no middle ground. So they have
Right.
this balance set that like, oh well, this is what we'll do for you, and we'll let you do this, but you get like eventually you can get access to both light and dark side stuff if you keep like grinding, which is essentially it's a grind essentially is what it is. But there is no like awesome middle ground stuff. So any roguish characters out there, like they didn't at all say like we'll throw you a bone, which was kind of disappointing.
Yeah,
But,
apparently you can't be full light or dark, apparently. I'm just looking at the chat. You can't be full light or dark, Jesse. There's a cap and you start losing points up to the cap, supposedly.
Whatever.
But
I don't
Shows
know.
shows how much I care.
I feel like there's just this really hard formula when you're trying to make a morality-based game where you're like, okay, there's this side and there's this side to the overall plot. So obviously you need to make like decisions that move you toward one side or the other.
Yeah,
Like-
I'm really waiting for a game that does it perfectly because I
Witcher
love
2.
the idea. Which game?
Witcher 2.
Well, Witcher 2. I
Except
have the Witcher 1.
The problem
not
with Witcher 2
You should
is
play Witcher 2.
while Witcher 2's got really great morality, also it really doesn't get the doing good thing right because everything's pretty much bad. It's like Witcher 2 and Witcher 1 as well exists in this horrible moral gray area where you're just morally ambivalent to everything and every choice doesn't have a right answer most of the time. Which is good, but it's also the other extreme. It's not what we want. It's like
Yeah.
if we want to be good sometimes, we don't want it to feel contrived, and more to the point, we don't want it to be on a meter either. I want the consequence of doing something good to be something happens later down the road, or it affects the story in some way. Not I gain 50 points, and then if
Yeah.
I do a bit more, I get a buff or whatever. I don't want that in my morality system. I think that should never be done.
It needs to always place you on a new branch in a tree.
Yeah,
Like there needs to
some
be
way.
more content to make up for it. Yeah.
In some
I
way.
agree.
But that's difficult, of course, which is why it's not really done a lot often. Anyway, we've got, I think, a bit of time for a break, and when we come back, we're going to be rounding up this week's releases, may talk a bit of news if we happen to have the time. You are watching the Game Station podcast, and hopefully it doesn't break. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Game Station podcast. Those watching during the break, we're just shuffling people around. We've got someone else hosting the Skype call now. Don't know if that's actually going to help, but we'll see what we can do.
Someone called me an
The
idiot.
internet. There's nothing unusual about
First
that.
time ever.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I am offended.
Why are you getting upset about that?
Because I didn't know about Star Wars: The Old Republic information.
Oh, yeah, but you don't even play
Oh,
it. Like
That's
I don't play it anymore.
That is my life. I live and breathe a game that I only play for the story.
I just didn't get
want
time.
you to love me.
I got to I think level 28 in that game, and it's not that I didn't enjoy it. I actually kind of liked the story. I just didn't have time to keep playing it.
Honestly, the only thing Star Wars: The Old Republic has for it is the story. It's unfortunate,
true.
but that game has not like the end game of that is dreadfully boring. I'm sorry, BioWare.
Dreadful.
You invested your money in a great leveling process, but everything else is kind
Yeah,
of off.
you know what? I was kind of
That's
alright with
true.
that, though. It's like, I paid $60, I got maybe 20, 30 hours of pretty good story experience. whatever, I'm done. I always said before the game even came out, I was going to buy it just to play the single player, and then probably wouldn't even give a damn about the end game. And turns out that was the right thing to do. So there you go. Why is the end game
for a while,
anyway?
but I quit because I heard the end game was bad, and that was really all I cared about. So, well, I mean, the story was entertaining, but
I want to why
MMOs, I usually like end game content.
Yeah,
so.
Why is the end game content bad? Like compared to WoW, for instance, I'm just interested.
Well, it suffers from two things. One, it suffers from new MMO syndrome, where it's they only can put out so much content.
They don't have enough time to make it.
Yeah,
compared to WoW, which has just a million things that you can do. Even though some of them are rehashed and old, there's still a million things to do. And so that's why it's the king of endgame stuff right now. And then the stuff that there is to do, there's 2 planets of grinding. And when people rush to get to the end, because apparently that's the thing you do in MMOs now, you rush to get to endgame, this stuff was really buggy. And so it turned a lot of people off. So those people left. And then once they fixed it, half the people that were doing it were gone. And then when you get there, it's just grinding out quests. It's kind of like... trying to think of a good example that a lot of people would know from WoW. Quel'Danis, whatever that place was, the Blood Elf. Yeah. The Blood Elf place. When you had to do those quests and you had to like it phased in, and it's kind of like that, but it's a little bigger and more grand, but it's still just doing turn-in quests, and it's kind of annoying. And then the dungeons, the raids, while extremely cool, like the Eternity Vault, the final boss, that's badass. The problem is that it's really easy, and
what about Nightmare mode? Because it's three modes difficulty, yeah?
I can honestly say that I never did it. I did the normal one, had fun, but a lot of people that were in my guild were hardcore raiders, and they destroyed Nightmare mode.
Yeah, really?
Like, it wasn't even a challenge. They were just like, I don't see the point.
Yeah,
so I was like, well, that sounds fun.
Oh my, Jesus Christ, it looks like it was quick. I was looking through for information on Nightmare mode. Apparently the Condemned Guild cleared all 10 boss encounters in Nightmare mode on January 20th.
Yep.
So that didn't take them too long then. Good lord.
No, it is not. Endgame's not hard. And so then they released more endgame stuff, which was just as easy, and it just didn't keep anyone's attention. When I think... It's weird that I, for once, might actually be like, Blizzard might have endgame right, considering all I do is complain about Blizzard endgame.
It took them 7 sodding years to get there. I would certainly hope that they've gotten it reasonably right by now.
But Blizzard gets so much crap because what they do is they make it really, really hard and inaccessible to a lot of people, and then they slowly, progressively dumb it down and they're like, well, we're trying to make it easier. And then all they get is more flack, like, it's not hard enough now.
Well,
I'm one of those people. I always hated it when they nerfed the boss.
Yeah, because I hate them.
You don't get the full experience.
Yeah, I hate them moving the goalposts and assuming that everyone's skill level stays exactly the same. You're supposed to get better at the game. It's like that's how every other game works. You play it, you get better at it, and you can beat the harder stuff, right?
And surely. I get that. I think what it does though is I guess I'm a weirdo that I like the ability to see everything, even if I know I wouldn't get there normally. Like, for example, the guild that I'm in WoW, we raid like 2 nights a week. I literally play WoW maybe 6 hours a week, and that's like it. I show up for raids, we kill stuff, we have fun, and I'm gone. Like, see you in a week. And we have a lot of fun, but because we don't raid like hardcore raiders, we've been stuck on the Spine of Deathwing heroic mode for a while, right? It's just a very... like, the last part of that fight is just AoE in your face, and you just get killed. It's kind of horrible. Blizzard keeps progressively lowering the difficulty of it and giving you a buff. So they don't lower the difficulty of the dungeon, they just give you a buff that gives you more stats and
Which
and
does
stamina.
lower the difficulty.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happens, though, is we've been stuck in this for weeks. We go in there, and we beat it. And then that same night, we beat Heroic Deathwing. And even though we were given an easier opportunity, it still felt good to be able to see it and do it rather than be stuck on that boss and then a new expansion comes out and it's like, well, for people who played original vanilla WoW, I think only 4 guilds in the world beat I'm trying to remember what that guy's name was, the Lich dude at the end of Naxxramas.
Kel'Thuzad. Which
yeah.
that's not true, by the way. There's way more that beat it.
Well, I would like to see like stats on that, because the original vanilla, most people got to the Four Horsemen, and that was as far as they got. New expansion came out. And so that's why Blizzard changed everything they did, because no one got to see their content, and they spent years working on making that, and no one got to see it. So that changed their development process. And I got to say, I kind of agree with that, but it's probably because I'm a horrifically lazy gamer, and I don't want to put in the time. I just, if I'm paying $14.99, I'm showing up every week to do this stuff, eventually I want to see it. Like, I don't give it to me right away. Don't hand it to me. But if I'm sitting here months banging my head up against a wall, throw me a little bone every once in a while to, like, keep me playing. I'm okay with that. I know a lot of people aren't, and I'm sure I'll get, like, a bunch of flack and shit for that.
You get flack whatever you say. Like, I say the opposite, and I get flack from people as well. And, like, people say, oh, well, you didn't do Heroic Deathwing, so your opinion's invalid. It's like, all right, okay, whatever you say. Just, I couldn't care less.
Them for doing it. I can't blame them for doing it because I understand why they do it, but it also is like disappointing to me. Well, I don't play WoW anymore. I used to play it a whole lot.
I quit a year ago.
Crusade, but I remember back in Burning Crusade when I used to do Illidan every now and then. That's about the time I quit after that, and it was like disappointing to me that they were like nerfing it and like making it easier because it was it was like, oh, I did something cool, but now everybody can do it, and I worked really hard at it. And so that's why it was like, it's a little disappointing to me.
But unfortunately, it's like I guess I don't want to say I like have matured past that, because that's clearly not the truth. But
no, you haven't.
I think honestly that opinion is one based on like ego. I feel it too. Like, if I achieve something, the more people who achieve it with me, it lessens what I've done.
Right.
So if I kill a big boss, I'm like, yeah, what up, son? I'm the biggest person on the server. And in reality, it's like, it's a game, and other people...
It's totally ego. It totally is.
It's totally ego.
I admit it.
But yeah. And I think at some point I just got over that. I was like, I don't care what other people do. I kind of just want to... I think when you cross that borderline into casual gamer, at that point it changes your perspective on how you see MMOs. Because back in the day, MMOs were like hardcore, and now I'm just like, if they beat it, great. If they don't...
When all you have left to do in WoW is sit around in Stormwind on your horse and like show off your T6 armor to everybody, then you really don't have anything else to do other than complain about whatever it is that they do, whatever it is that they change in the game. So you can't blame me. I'm just
that should be a forum post. That sums up all of WoW essentially. Like, the people who complain are the guys with nothing better to do. It makes sense.
Yeah, that was me. I mean, I had everything and I was bored, so I'm just gonna complain about everything. I admit it.
That's every MMO. At some
it was a bad stage in my life, but I can.
A bad stage.
I actually really enjoyed my WoW days, but
a lot of us have good memories.
It took so much time.
We just don't want to play it.
Back when I was in high school, I had like I could do whatever I wanted. So.
And then
cool.
life came.
Yeah.
That it did.
I haven't really played an MMO since college, since my freshman year of college.
I think I quit.
I've been playing a bit more Terra. I keep coming back to Terra, and I'll play maybe half an hour to an hour of it every now and again. Although I did notice, and I will try and put this up on stream, I think it is possible, there was a rather amusing image that I ran into on Reddit, as always, which was a comparison of high-level female Castellan armor, I believe, versus take all your clothes off. Yep. I'll see if I can get you a link to this.
I've seen that. It's amazing.
It's pretty funny. The Asians have a very odd way of dealing with female characters, and by that I mean ridiculously misogynist. Let's see
it's almost gravity defying. Like, their clothes, it breaks the rules of physics. The clothing they wear has special powers, basically, and it's amazing.
I think somebody's linking it in the chat. It's a picture.
It's okay. Yeah, I can put it on the stream using magical powers and hopefully not break everything. So
magic powers.
All right, let me see what I can do. Okay, this is going to cover up everyone.
That's fine. I want to see this.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
And
Terra looks really pretty, but I honestly know nothing about it.
That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Those of you on
We're
the
waiting.
stream.
The stream isn't caught up to us yet.
We'll get there eventually.
It's
which
black
one's
and white.
which? Oh, no armor.
What?
Oh, yeah, baby.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
That's high-level armor in Terra with that particular race. And that is no clothes at all. What? What?
I gotta be honest, like, I'm not sure. Look, I ain't saying I'm an expert on the female anatomies, but I think that outfit would actually hurt. Because it looks like it would just grind in all the wrong places. You would get nothing done.
No, that's
not,
true.
I'm not saying. I'm just, I'm
Well,
just
like,
saying.
if you're like fighting somebody, you'd just lose so much
Just
blood.
be a healer and just stand there really still and look pretty.
It's
just like
That's what I used to do.
It's the good old D&D armor class thing. You know, the less you're wearing, the higher your armor class actually is. And no, it's
so weird
bad.
though. Terra's one of those games that gameplay is like kind of freaking fun, but the rest of it is just
So boring.
It's like I can't
The
stand
quests
it.
are so boring. But I play like a couple of levels at a time, and it doesn't take long to level up in that game. You can do levels fairly rapidly, so I get bored of the quest after about an hour, and then I come back the day afterwards when I can tolerate it again, and I just keep going and going. Eventually, because I want to get to the end game, because the PvP is supposed to be pretty fun, the 5-man's are cool, and I wouldn't mind getting involved in the whole Vanarch system. I want my own little province, and I want to abuse people in it, and you know what? I think I can probably do that.
I mean, the end game sounds like a lot of fun, but I know very few people who have pushed to it because of the fact that leveling is just like, oh my god, why?
You've got to have some serious tolerance, unless you are a big fan of. It's essentially vanilla WoW questing. Yeah, no voice acting, very limited number of objectives. It's the 5 Ds over and over again: defend, drop, deliver, discover, and whatever the hell the other one is.
I kind of liked vanilla WoW quests, but to be fair, that was the first MMO I played, so it was just like, whoa, there's other people in this game.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So much easier than EverQuest. When I went from EverQuest to WoW, I was like, holy shit, I do not have to spend all of my time grinding in this game. That is fantastic. Like, would you say that the grinding level is comparable to EverQuest?
You don't grind. You quest. The same way as vanilla WoW, you quest. But the quests are dull. Like, in 2005, or actually 2004, when WoW came out, those quests were a revelation. It's like, oh my god, I don't have to grind by just killing 50-odd mobs, because I have a quest that says, get 10 bear asses. And if I hand the bear asses in, I receive an item and some gold. And it's like, you can do a quest in 5 minutes, then log off and feel like you've achieved something. Obviously you won't, but one way or the other, that's kind of how it works. But the problem with Terra is that questing has moved on since then. Questing in WoW is much better than it was. Questing in Cataclysm blew everything else out of the water. It was better in TBC, it was much better in Wrath, and it was even better in Cataclysm. And I assume that Mr. Pandaria probably is even better still. But unless you're kind of doing the Guild Wars route by changing the way that questing works, you're essentially doing the same thing as WoW did 6-7 years ago, and it's not fun. It isn't. The fighting is fun, which is enough to keep you playing, but only for short periods of time.
Is it just me or is the stream down again?
I'll put it back up. It's all. I already saw the blip and I fixed it. So
okay. Yeah.
This won't be on the VOD, so it won't be a problem. I'm just not even going to refer to the stream going down. I'm just going to deal with it on this end. So it seems to go down every time Skype goes weird. Like, the Skype goes a bit robotic, so like there's a bandwidth problem somewhere. But I can just fix it, so that's not a problem. We'll just continue with it.
Believe in you.
Sorry, live stream guys. There's not a thing we can really do about that, I'm afraid.
Sorry, live stream.
But, alright, so I don't really know where we got Terra from, but we did. So we can talk about some new releases that are coming up this week, actually. There's a couple of decent ones here and there. Yeah, that's going to be the major one. Coming out on the 15th of May in EU and US and all other territories, to my knowledge. Diablo 3 on PC and Mac.
I am so excited!
I am not remotely excited.
I am admittedly very excited. I
I'm
always
so
love
excited.
Diablo.
I also watched the Wrath video. I love the fact that it was animated by the people who do Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah,
I kind of had a joy with that.
I didn't realize that.
Dodge your excitement level on Diablo 3. Yay or nay? Contribute. What is it?
What?
Dodge.
Am I talking now?
What is? I just want to know what Dodge's excitement level is, because I don't really care. You two really care, and
I don't know. As somebody who hasn't I've only played the beta in a very like limited capacity, but they don't let you play it very much
No,
at
no,
all.
no.
So I don't know, Mike. Like I feel like if I had been able to really play a class for longer, I would be more excited. But because they only let you play to the point where no matter what class you pick, you're mostly just left and right clicking.
Yeah.
I'm not like extremely excited about it, but it was really fun playing the beta. So,
Did you play 1 and 2?
huh?
Did you play 1 and 2? Diablo 1 and 2?
I played 1. I never played 2.
All right, so that's where your lack of enthralled excitement comes from. Then, so seriously, I'm convinced if I hadn't gotten way into the story of Diablo 2, I would not care about the Diablo 3 storyline, which is basically the main draw for the game. Because
Gotcha.
Diablo 2, the story is kind of badass, and the way they tell it through like the Wanderer and things like that. I mean, it's a really well-crafted story, and the way it works is kind of great. And the continuation, I think, in 3, that it's like several years later, the world's at peace, everything's good, you save the world in Diablo 2, and then it's like, in your face, fools! Because apparently it was all like part of some ancient prophecy or some garbage, I don't know. But I think it's actually really, I would say 90% of the people who are really looking forward to Diablo 3 are the people who are desperately in love with the story. And
I think you're right, because my experience with Diablo 2 was a 3-day binge at a LAN party. Like, this is the one and only time I ever played it. We said, let's play Diablo 2. We handed out 4 copies of Diablo 2, installed it, played it straight for about 3 days with bare minimum sleep, and then never touched it again.
Oh, jeez.
I don't remember the story because I was in a energy drink fueled, sleep deprived haze of just, I need more loot. We need more.
Whoa.
Yeah. Actually, I was basically Raptor right there. This was me playing Diablo, like kind of like this, you know. Yeah, it was. So I don't care about Diablo 3's story on that basis. I figure if I had played it more in detail and not in this crazy binge-like way, then maybe I would have given a damn. As it stands, I'm not really a big fan of those kind of games anyway, because of the repetitive nature of the combat. And what I played with the Diablo 3 beta didn't change my mind on that.
Diablo 1 was incredibly repetitive.
Oh, yeah.
I remember I played like a warrior, or whatever you call it, the class in that game.
Barbarian.
And I just went through the whole game. It was just like, left click, left click, left click.
Yeah,
And
but
I'm
at
just
the
like,
time
heal,
that
heal.
I played it, I was like, this game is dope. Like, I love it.
Honestly, the reason why I liked Diablo 1 so much, it was just like, whoa, I kept progressing deeper and deeper into hell. And it was just like, the deeper I went, the scarier it got. And like, it was more just the experience to me in Diablo 1. Diablo 2 actually had fun combat, I would say.
Right. I think I would agree that at its base core, the genre of just dungeon crawling you can only get so in depth with it. So a lot of the gameplay mechanics, I know a lot of people will be like, ugh, especially people who played the beta, who I don't know if they played 2 or 1, had a lot of like, it doesn't feel that fun. But again, I'm convinced that anyone who played 2, who like got into the story, that all they care about is seeing where it goes next, because the story in 2 was so good. And so
I'd want to play it for the cinematics, like every Blizzard game. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see
I'm
more of this.
excited just to see the huge boss fights and stuff like that. I love that kind of thing. That's why I liked raiding and WoW. It's just, what kind of crazy boss can you throw at me? Like, it wasn't like sitting there, flash of light, holy light. Like, that wasn't terribly, amazing.
Yeah, that's
fun.
boring.
But looking at the boss while everybody else is killing it, I'm just like, oh, here you go, guys. Like, it's just like the experience is really what I like about it.
I know I'm going to be wrong, but I think Diablo 2 might have been one of the first games to have a like big twist ending that was like the end of the game. Like, game over, there's your big twist. When I don't want to, if anyone hasn't played it, but the reveal
It's
at
been
the
years, man.
the reveal at the end.
Spoil it. To be fair, there's probably some people playing Diablo 2 right now to try to finish it for when Diablo 3 comes out.
That's
But the ending of it is like you build up this story of following the Wanderer around, and this old man is reliving the story, telling it to this dude in his jail cell, and it's like one of those, he's talking to Tyrael, and then at the end it's like, twist, bitch. And it's so good that like in that badass walk away moment when everything's on fire, you're like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. Like that's the moment when you're like, this is great. Expansion was cool, but that moment alone sort of like sealed the deal of Diablo fandom for me. So I was like, this is terrific. Yeah.
Understandable.
I feel like I should play 2 before 3 comes out. Do I have time?
But then you'll be so tired of Diablo.
It's going to be difficult. You could.
Just watch the ending on YouTube. Just take the lazy.
No, I
Just watch. Well, there'll be
can't do
compilations
that.
of all the
I've never been
cinematics,
able to
won't
do
there?
that.
There must be somewhere.
Oh yeah, but the thing that I find funny is just looking at time. Time in cinematics is like the best sort of weird thing to go back and look at. Just go back and look at your favorite games from like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and it's like beep boop beep. I am a cinematic. It's like,
Are you
I
kidding?
remember the StarCraft
It's Blizzard.
cinematics. I used to think those were amazing, and now look at them, they're kind of like weird.
Yeah, they're yes, it's so.
I was like
Warcraft-
mind blown.
Warcraft 3
It's
cinematics
amazing.
are still incredible. Still incredible.
No, that's true, but compared to what we have now, right? It's kind of like that's wow, okay. And then go back even further to like StarCraft, where that guy's in the spaceship and he's like the weird cigarette that's hanging out of his mouth with like the weird smoke. It's kind of hilarious.
Yes.
It's a Zerglin, Lester. I was afraid of aliens as a kid, like, and I still am for some reason. It's just like my
what an irrational fear.
It's my irrational fear. I'm not really afraid of aliens, but I am. And so like I would always like watch those cinematics as a kid, like, oh no, Lester, not Lester, and then it just freaked the crap out of me, and I had nightmares.
I'll make you feel better. I have an irrational fear of sharks in pools. So that's the thing. I'm not joking. I don't know how I got that. I think it's because when I was very young, I had a babysitter, and the very first memory I have, true story, the first memory I have is watching Jaws with her, and I think it scarred me so much that all memories before that disappeared, and like that's the first thing I remember. And so every time I'm near the ocean, in a pool, all I hear is like, ba-dum. But I'm like, oh shit, I'm out of here, son. And so I have an irrational fear that if I'm alone in a pool, there has to be a shark in there with me.
You should play sharks.
I can't explain it. I can't explain it.
Basically, you've got a massive ego. Like you believe you're important enough that a shark would be in the pool just for you. You're a douchebag.
Someone's getting. That's not an ego. That's. I think that's a messed. I think I need help. And you're like, you have an ego, asshole. I need help. I need psychiatric help. And the weird thing is I've even caught myself thinking like, what if I was in a pool and like an airplane or a helicopter flew over that had a shark and it dropped the pool? How long would I have to get out of the pool before the shark ate me?
Open the hatch.
I'm like, or
bombs away, Willie.
Pouring water, right? That's thought. I've had that thought. So you're not crazy. Clearly, crazy's over here.
If it helps. Like a week ago, I had a nightmare that I was opening up like packages that fans had sent me, and one of them I cut open and bees flew out. Like some bees.
Don't give them ideas. What the hell?
Yeah,
Opening
seriously.
up envelopes, I was like, please God, don't let there be bees. In
I
it.
want to send you a package and it just be nothing but like a piece of paper that says bees.
Oh no! You're like, bees! We have to be like Batman and conquer our fears. So we're all superheroes. So Dodger is Bee Woman. I'm Shark Boy. Austin will be like Alien Avenger.
I want to be the alien kid.
Yeah, the Alien Kid, and TotalBiscuit becomes me, his most irrational kid.
There's nothing irrational about that, Jesse. Not at all. I could be like Minecraft
superhero
boy or
ever.
something. I could just become a Let's Player. It'd be
I'll
terrible.
have like that Fallout 3 weapon where you like shoot the blue laser and it like turns people into ashes. Like that actually, speaking of Fallout New Vegas actually, that scared the crap out of me because I was just running around in Fallout New Vegas and all of a sudden there's 3 aliens walking around and they start shooting these blasters at me and I freaked out. It's so stupid, but I totally was just scared the piss out of me. Because I didn't know they were there. And then I made a video about it.
Can I just say that I love your fascination with aliens? Like,
I like how you monetized your fear. That's the best bit.
I
You're a
watched Sesame
shrewd
Street
man.
as a child, and then they would have those
weird
like,
alien
things. And I called them dibba-dips as a kid because I couldn't speak yet very well. So I just, Mommy, the dibba-dips. And I'd start crying, and she would just be like, honey, what are the dibba-dips? And I'd just start crying. It's like, it's scarred. My mind is scarred.
Oh, damn it!
What you're saying is Sesame Street did this to you.
They were the dibba-dips. That's what they did. Technically, they were saying, yip, 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 yip. But I thought they were saying, like, ah! That's my story. And that is why I am the man I am today.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh, I like you. You can stay.
the dibba dips.
I'm honored.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so yes, Diablo 3 is coming out this week. This is going to be the game that I imagine the vast majority of people will end up playing. I don't know. I'll probably pick it up. I know the missus is picking it up, so it might be a good opportunity to actually play co-op.
You married a smart woman.
Yeah.
The thing is, I have Torchlight 2 beta, which is just awesome, and I'm also playing Path of Exile. I'm actually on a mission to play every game that isn't Diablo, and I'm doing really well. The only one I need to pick up now is Grim Dawn. Once I get access to Grim Dawn, that'll be all the Diablo clones, all on my hard
I feel
drive.
really guilty that I won't be playing Torchlight 2 for a while, because I know it'll be really good. But at the same time, Diablo 3, and I'm the fanboy.
They're gonna.
so-
What they'll have to do, what they need to do, is just wait until people get sick of Diablo, and then they release their game. Because like, oh look, it's like this, but it's a bit different. And hey, there's modding, and hey, you can play online, and hey, you can play single player, and there's no money transactions and nonsense like that. So, oh, it's $20. So, I think that's what they've got to do. They must wait. I know there was an article that came out a little while ago with Max Schaefer saying it would be ideal if we released about a month after Diablo 3. It's like, no, it wouldn't. No.
Yeah, it was.
No. Wait a little bit longer. Wait a bit longer. So yeah, Diablo 3 coming to Mac, PC. And those consoles might be more interested in the other major release this week, which is Max Payne 3, which I do not actually believe is coming out in the EU this week. According to my release list, it's only out in the US this week on PS3 and 360.
Wow, alright, I don't know what's going on, like someone must be watching the stream, but literally as you said that, Max Payne 3 popped up in the corner. That was kind of badass. I'm not sure what kind of weird voodoo you got going on.
You
Was
mean in
kinda
the
awesome.
chat? It popped up in the chat, you mean?
No, like an ad.
Like
for
the ad.
Oh. Okay.
I've got Gunrun on this,
I'm not
man.
seeing an ad
And
right
most of you
now.
don't even know who Gunrun is, but Gunrun's essentially a genius. He works for Twitch. That's what I've got him doing. Yeah. He's
It
fixing
was
that.
kind of awesome. I'm impressed. I'm slightly impressed with you right now.
Which
Slight-
only ever gives me cotton ads.
It's
Here, have some cotton. No more
I
cotton.
want it. Take it back.
Yeah, incidentally, I'm wrong. It is coming out in EU this week as well. May the 18th is the release date for Max Payne 3. It's the PC release. I actually have no idea when the PC release is. All I know is that there is a PC release. I just don't know when.
is anyone like really? I mean, I'll play it, but is anyone like really excited for a new Max Payne game?
Yeah,
is anyone-
I love Max Payne. I'm hoping that it ends up being good. And it actually ties in nicely to Austin's question that he'll be talking about later. So, a bit of foreshadowing there on the issue of multiplayer.
I forgot it. I forgot what it
Yeah.
was.
FYI,
Chilling
the,
vision.
Don't worry,
Yep.
we remember.
the PC
I've
release
not-
date, by the way, is... Well, according to this, in the EU, it releases on the 18th of May on PC and the 29th of May in the US. I don't know if that's actually true. Maybe this
Interesting.
site is just wrong, but it's coming fairly quickly afterwards anyway, so I shouldn't be too shabby. But yeah, Max Payne 3 has multiplayer for whatever reason. But I'm more interested in the single player because that's all Max Payne ever was previously.
Right. And a mediocre movie.
Yeah, let's not even talk about it. Yeah, that release date was wrong. Wikipedia says it's May 29th on PC and June 1st in EU.
We're getting robotic voices. We might crash again. Just throwing it out there.
Are we breaking?
Don't
I don't think it's actually
acknowledge
breaking.
it.
I think it's... Yeah,
Yeah, if
don't,
you acknowledge it, you give it power.
exactly.
sorry.
Don't look
Look
at it.
away.
It might go away. I think it's actually stabilized now. If this is happening, it's not actually dropping the stream because I'm not hosting the call. But, well, that's helpful anyway. But, yeah, Max Payne 3... it's unfortunate that it's coming out in the same week as Diablo, obviously, but Diablo's only out on PC, so they're still going to sell a boatload of copies because it is the only major console release this week.
Word.
Hey, guys, I think you should definitely, especially Austin, check that out
I'm afraid it's gonna be
right now, right this minute.
Is it an alien?
Oh, that's so crazy looking.
Do I want to put this
That
up?
actually, if I wasn't like talking to other people right now, I might actually be really afraid. Right? What is he holding in his hand?
Austin?
They have the book though. Look the book.
Oh, that's by Jolly Jack. Jolly Jack's awesome. He does great stuff.
I love
Yep.
love that exists because it takes the thing like the dips and it makes them horrifying. I am convinced tonight you're gonna have like scared dreams of this horror.
I
I'm
can
so
only
excited.
imagine what my life would be like now if that's the way they really were in the show.
There we go. I'm showing people on the stream. That's a dip, apparently.
It is.
It's a very evil
Oh
dip.
man.
Oh dear. Oh man. But yeah. Aside from that, like, it's just going back to the subject of what we're supposed to be talking about. I couldn't give a damn about the multiplayer. Honestly, I really don't. Max Payne 3. It looks nice. Certainly, it actually looks really, really good. There was a leaked list of specs required for your PC, and it was something ridiculous. And I have a feeling that it was all wrong, but it still looks good. All I can say is that I hope it doesn't have the drug-induced nonsense from Max Payne 1 with the little maze platforming bits. No.
TB.
No.
I don't
No.
know what you mean.
Awful thing. Max Payne 2, on the other hand, didn't have those. It did have the Captain Baseball Bat Boy segment, which was quite annoying, where you're supposed to stop the guy from getting hit too much, otherwise he explodes and dies. It was funny, but it was
Happens
difficult.
to me a lot.
Me?
I
Sorry.
didn't even beat Max Payne 2. Like it was Max
I beat
Payne
it.
2. I had like the same feeling I had when I played Final Fantasy 13. Maybe about halfway through the game, I just was like, and just never finished it. I can't explain why. I don't know.
But you did that with... I can understand doing that with Final Fantasy, because it's pretty long, but Max Payne's about 6 hours.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like it was, I don't know. Like halfway through the game, I was just like, I wanted to finish it. I just never did. I just the ability to care just ended quickly.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Took a nosedive.
So that's the thing.
Mm.
There.
Mm.
What other games are coming out this week? Anything? Indie?
Well, no, those
Rock
are the
of
majors.
Ages.
Yeah, Rock of Ages is on PlayStation 3. If for some reason you haven't already played that game on PC, you can play it on PlayStation 3. I think anyone that's watching this has probably either has already played it or has determined that they're not interested. So I don't think that's really relevant to anyone. But hey, you can play it on PlayStation 3. Yeah.
Such a good game, though.
It's the historic. It's the
In my
best
head right now.
historical bowling simulator that I can think of. That's what it is. You get rocks and you throw them at your opponent's fortress after sort of navigating a little maze, kind of Marble Madness, I guess. And
Kind of like Katamari Bowl.
yeah, definitely. Or Super Monkey Ball, for instance. And you
Yeah,
can,
actually, that's probably better.
yeah, and you can spend points to place defenses in the way, like towers and cows and a giant elephant and things like that. And it's all done cardboard cutout style.
The usual things.
Yeah, the usual. It's essentially Monty Python style as well, because it's all cardboard cutouts in 2D. It's a great game. It's like $10.
Monty Python.
It's probably one of my favorite main menu screens.
Oh, it has the
Any
best
game.
menu screen.
And it has the best music too.
Yeah, it does.
I just sit there and listen to it.
It has the best menu screen. 10 of 10.
That is one hell of an endorsement. They can
Sold,
put
I'm
that
sold. The
Game
best
of the Year
menu
edition. There you go. They can put the Game of the Year edition out with that quote on it. It'll be great. But if for some reason your PC can't handle Rock of Ages, like if it is actually from the Stone Age itself, then maybe your PlayStation might want to play it. Also coming out this week on PlayStation, Ratchet and Clank HD Collection. Never been into those games, if I'm totally honest.
I never tried them. They look cool.
They're action platformers, essentially.
Yeah, I know what they are. I just never played them. It was one of those games I always meant to play when I got a PS2. Just never did.
Wasn't Ratchet and Clank? Didn't the original come out during that sort of wave of like Crash Bandicoot
Mascot
and
titles.
Spyro and all
Yeah,
those games that were sort of like that platforming thing that was, it was just too much, and I just never got around to playing it. I was like, don't care too much.
I have to wonder actually. I'm pretty sure that did not come out on PlayStation 1. So actually, it didn't come out in that wave of hey, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, and stuff like that. It came out on PlayStation
2.
Yeah, PlayStation 2 originally in 2002, and is still being made to this day. Actually, being made by Insomniac, who are a really great company, and funnily enough, made Spyro. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Yep, they also made Resistance, and that makes them a fairly good company too. But yeah,
I guess because the characters, I don't know. I've always thought the Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Kink. That's the X-rated
Just go with
version.
it. Just roll with it.
The two characters, the two main characters, never really seemed like inspired artistry. I'm sure someone worked many hours to create them, but they never you never saw them like those guys look badass. It's like a cat man and a robot.
Yeah.
Terrific. I don't know. It never really had that when you make games, you have to have some character draw you in. Like that thing looks awesome. I want to be that. Instead, it was like, I'll be generic Catman with armor, and with Robot Pal. Like, welcome to Nickelodeon at 10 a.m.
Yeah, there's a serious number of these games as well. There are a lot of them.
I mean, they are fun. They've never been the type of game where I've started it and then said to myself, oh, I'm really excited to see what happens in this game. It's just been like, oh, this is kind of fun,
Right.
I mean, they're pretty much all good, but the problem I think I have is right, there are 13 games with Ratchet and Clank in
Yeah,
them.
that's my problem.
Whoa,
too.
there's
It's
13 Ratchet and Clank games? How is
One
this
way or
a
the other, yeah.
franchise?
There's a couple of spin-offs. Like, if
Oh,
we
yeah,
were talking about main Ratchet and Clanks, there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there's 8 main Ratchet and
Were
Clanks.
some of them for handhelds?
One of them was for handheld. Size
Who is-
Matters was for handheld.
Who is the target audience of a Ratchet and Clank game? Like,
Ratchet
I
and Clank?
don't know
Clearly,
any of those
I guess.
people, and I know a lot of gamers.
Teenagers,
I don't know anyone
right?
who's like teenagers.
I
What
think it has a cult
Early
teen
following.
do
teenagers.
you know who's like, I'm gonna go play Ratchet and Clank, not Dead or Alive boob volleyball. Like, who do you know? Like, or I'm gonna go play Call of Duty right now. If your choices was between shooting dudes in the head or playing a Catman with robots, what would you choose? Like, who is the audience? I don't get it.
I
Like,
don't-
I'm
I
not
think it
saying
has
it's
a
bad
cult
game.
following.
I just don't. I don't understand.
This game sells a lot of copies.
It
As
apparently it
Austin
does.
said, it does kind of have a cult following. Also, more to the point, I'd just like to point out that not every teenager known to man is playing the same game. Just,
That
I
is
don't know
a
how
lot
many
of
teenagers you
teenagers out
know,
there.
but I can tell you that no.
I guess I'm an old fart. I don't know nothing about them kids these days. Back in my day, we liked boobs and guns. I don't know what kids are
Like
into now.
Minecraft.
I don't know if they're into cat people and
well, like
robots.
I think the other thing is that both of my nieces are pretty young, but they play these sorts of video games. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's not only aimed at teenagers, like younger and younger
Preteens as well.
audiences. Or
Yeah.
they're playing.
Yeah, that's
Games
something
that
my
aren't just
stepson would
like,
play, actually. In
"Ratchet."
fact, he's playing games similar to that anyway. Like, things like Rayman Origins and things like that. So, yeah, he would play that. Without question.
I
Well,
like it.
understand they're solid games too. I just never played them.
I like
they
that
get
chat
good
is,
reviews. I'm pretty sure.
chat's trying to correct me in that he's a lombax. Like, I don't know what
what?
the hell that is.
That's not a real
he's
thing.
a lombax. Like, oh, okay. All right, then.
Lombax is a fictional species. It's a fictional species, guys. It's a catman. What the hell? It's a
You didn't
Lombax.
know?
Oh, I'm sorry. We don't know much about our Ratchet and Clank lore on this particular show. What?
He's a lombax.
Dear God. From the planet Fastoon is where the Lombaxes are from.
Don't you know?
Didn't you know that? My
Let
God,
me
how
Google
can you not know
for
that?
you.
Play games good.
But yeah, Ratchet and Clank HD, which is actually yet another HD collection on PlayStation 3. There are quite a few. I have a list here. Where the balls did it go? It's here somewhere. Aha! Yes, here we go. So there are the other HD collections of kind of PlayStation exclusive stuff include the Jak and Daxter collection, God of War Origins collection, God of War collection, Sly collection, and Ico and Shadow of the Colossus collection on PlayStation 3.
Look, I'm not gonna make any fans when I say this, but all these games that are like someone and someone, because there's about 1 million of them, kind of
God
reminds
and
me.
War. What?
I think I can only think of like Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
The
Actually,
That's all.
Oddworld games are like that too.
No, yeah, there was like, and then what was the one with you played as one
Sam and
guy.
Max. There's
Yeah,
one.
you played as one guy, and then they switched the series where you played as the bad guy, and it was like Legacy of Kain. What was it? Soul Reaver?
Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, and Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain. Basically, it had the word Legacy of Kain in it. Yeah.
Basically, I think like at some point, that's pretty much all the games. Like most games that were coming out was that sort of like you're running through like a 3D-ish platformer thing. And I'm trying to if I could find you an article I read like way back when it was talking about like innovation, and basically they just decided like everyone wants to play these games, we'll just make these. And it's kind of like what's happening now with FPS games.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I had a link for that. I don't know where it's at, but it's pretty much the exact same thing happening now.
It's essentially you can blame Crash Bandicoot and you can blame Mario 64, right? Because up until that point, nobody was doing 3D properly, and with the platforming. And then they got it right, and then everyone made it in that style. So even to this day, stuff like the new Ratchet and Clank games, they play like that. They have the same kind of controls from the same kind of perspective, and they're certainly more action oriented than Crash Bandicoot. But yeah, I think that's where that came from.
But the genre itself hasn't grown leaps and bounds.
Well, action platformers? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, they haven't tried to do anything like crazy with it, and they just sort of leave it as is. And
I'm not sure what they would do with it though.
Yeah,
well, I mean, that's true.
That's not my job, but
unless you count Shadow
mean,
of the
Persia.
Colossus as an action
Prince of Persia
platformer.
was pretty cool back in the day.
Prince of
I guess
Persia
that's
was,
an
yeah.
action platform.
Yeah, it was, and that was actually an action platformer that was based more on the platforming than the actual action.
Yeah.
So
Right.
there's not a lot of difficult platforming in Ratchet and Clank. Honestly, it's mostly just action.
I mean, I guess there isn't. It's sort of weird when genres reach the end of their life cycle. Like 3D platformers, I think they've explored all they can do with creating it, right?
Yep.
Like, I would venture to say that most MMOs have reached that end of their, like, they can only do so much more without like a giant leap forward, but I don't know what that would be. Like FPS games, there's so much more they could do with them, but they just don't. And it's just sort of stuck in, like, it's weird because I guess I've never been like around to see something like that. So it's like you see this it, like go like this and then hit like sort of a wall, and you desperately want to see it like go past that, but everything that comes out then, because they see the success of one, is that like you're just being bombarded with it, which is kind of like what I was saying with the Jak and Daxter and all, and Ratchet and Clank and all that stuff, where it's that they reached the popularity level and then just shoveled it out and were like, buy this one, it's similar to what you like. And
well, I think one of the major problems is that they find something that people like and something that people expect, and if you try to do something that's too extreme
People
beyond
complain.
that, then the publishers are like, maybe we want to make sure that these people are still going to play it.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't do something that's too far beyond that. You can't do something too extreme, or they don't have any faith in it. So it grows so slowly that it's hard to see like that turning point.
Yeah. And
Unless
then
Kickstarter.
yeah, Kickstarter certainly helps to bypass that. The other thing that happens is what I like to call the Activision theorem, which is where Activision will actually get a concept that's fairly interesting and innovative, like Guitar Hero. Then they milk it and kill the entire genre by doing so. They're currently doing that with Skylanders, because let's be honest, you can hate Skylanders all you damn well please, but it's a really interesting and innovative and very clever product in the way that it's marketed, the entire game, the way that it's done. and that is going to get milked to death over the next few years. There's going to be other companies that try the same thing. It's going to be milked to death, and then that genre will most likely not be revisited for a very long time. As you know, music games are dead now. They just are. You can't release a music game right now and expect it to sell because it won't.
Right.
Wow, that's depressing.
That is depressing. I mean, there is a school of thought that a way to make sure that your company is continuing to do well is to make a game that's within a franchise that they know will sell, and then once that has sold quite a bit, then take a shot on this other game, and then do another game that's within a franchise like off and on.
Yeah.
But
or change the genre.
There
of the
is a
franchise.
point where it's too much, where you've milked it far too much, and people just aren't interested.
I'm not saying this is a direct correlation to my theory last week, but I'm saying this is a direct correlation to my theory last week.
This better
Go
not be
on.
Prometheus again.
No,
I'm gonna
Say what
punch
I
you.
no,
the
it's
internet.
it's my theory of how everything ends. It's the Jesse Cox theory of everything becomes crappier as time goes on. That's
But
why
it doesn't.
it just did. You
Rock
just
Band
proved-
3 is not bad. In fact, it's the best game of the entire series by a country mile.
But
you just
but
can't
Rock
make it
Band
the Rock
4
Band game.
But Rock Band 4 would suck. Admit it. You know it's true.
No, it would just be the
Blew
same
your
as Rock Band
mind.
3.
Your mind?
No, there's nowhere to go with it now. It's not going to suck. It would just be the same.
Your brains are coming out your mouth.
Your theory wasn't
Yeah.
right last week, and it's not right this week.
And that has been an argument with Jesse Cox.
Indeed. That's how easy it is.
By
to
the way,
win.
by the way. Speaking of Prometheus, thanks for bringing it up.
No,
Yes,
no,
no, it's too late.
no,
It's too late. It's too
no.
late.
I'm
about
muting
to blow your
Skype.
mind. It's too late.
No,
it's too
no.
late.
As you
I'll
stop.
listen. I'll listen.
Thank you, sir. So everyone thought I was Prometheus theory. On Ain't It Cool News, they had an the Mountain of Madness or something. Story. I see TV's working some evil magic. How dare you mute me? How dare you mute?
I was listening, but you know, I guess if we're going through like a democratic system here, then I guess.
You're so
Is he going to write this on paper?
I
He's going to write
so.
this on paper, isn't he? Oh, God. I refuse to let this be derailed by Prometheus talk again. It's not happening. It's bad. I want to talk about video games.
Actually, I didn't even know what he was talking about. I was trying to.
Just
listen,
don't.
but
You don't want to ask.
wasn't
He's
sure.
got this theory about Prometheus. He won't shut up about it. It's got nothing to do with video games, and it's infuriating. Jeez.
I even know what he's gonna say because he already told me all of this yesterday.
Yesterday. See, that's 3 times he's told you about it. 3 times.
He's really stuck on it.
Apparently. He's writing it down.
Maybe there's a method.
I like to
the-
think he's actually just drawing really detailed boobs.
That is
That
also a
would be the
possibility.
best, really.
Oh. Alright, anyway. Let's finish off the release list and then we can quickly go to a break. Hopefully do it before Jesse actually finishes his drawing.
Fast, Jesse.
Like,
Jesse, work fast.
There isn't a lot else really worth talking about. There's 2 games, I suppose, that people might be interested in. There's Game of Thrones, which is an RPG, and it may be terrible, it may not be terrible. We'll see. But if Game of Thrones Genesis is anything to go by, it probably won't be any good.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Yeah, that didn't go well. But I will try it because I like Game of Thrones, and then I'll be disappointed by it because I like Game of Thrones.
You gotta try it, because what
Yeah.
if?
Yeah.
There's that... What if it's good?
Maybe it is.
Oh, okay. Yes, there we go, the boobs.
Anyway. The one other game I want to talk about before the break
Move
is...
it up a little bit, Jesse, because it's not all in the... There we go. Oh, what?
Sonic the Hedgehog
Well-
4, Episode 2, coming to Xbox Live and nothing else right now. I assume there's some kind of exclusivity. So, the first one wasn't very good, was it, Austin? You played this, I'm sure.
I'm sorry. Repeat that one more time. I was
Sonic the
distracted
Hedgehog
by...
4, Episode 1.
Did I play it?
I thought you played it. Didn't you play it?
I haven't played it.
Well, you
I can
unmute,
pretend.
Jesse. You didn't play
I
it.
can pretend if you want.
Yeah, you can pretend if you played it. So, in your pretend
It was,
play of it,
It was awful.
yes.
Awful.
You see, you don't even have to
That's
have
what I
played it to
usually hear
realize
people
that.
complaining. I never was a big Sonic guy. I watched the cartoons when I was a kid, and I played a game of Sonic on the Game Gear, but I never really had many Sega consoles. So I'm not
I
a big
was
Sonic guy.
I was a bit of a Sega kid in that I never had a console when I was growing up. I had computers, but I used to sneak over to my friend's house and play Mega Drive. And I used to.
I
play
wish
Sonic
that I
all
had a
the time.
Sega, but I didn't.
Yeah. So, has anyone else here actually played Sonic 4? Or am I going to go on one of my explanatory rants again? No.
Is
no.
Jesse unmuted?
Jesse.
And
Yeah, he's unmuted. He's been unmuted the entire time.
Hi.
I just
Hi.
muted the Skype call.
Hi.
It was easy. Jesse didn't play it. Oh god. Okay, I guess I'm
No,
gonna have to explain why it's bad then.
I haven't played a Sonic game since Sega Genesis.
All
I
right.
don't know- I don't know
Okay.
anything about it.
Right. So this is why Sonic 4 is bad, right? So Sonic 4, it was supposed to be episodic. It's episodic in the same way that Half-Life 2 is episodic. That's to say, not at all. So they release a bit of it, and then
Excellent.
they realize this is awful, and everyone hated it, and we have to go back to the drawing board. Initially, people were like, they were taken away by the fact that it was a 2D Sonic game again. And it wasn't Sonic Russian handheld, which is just pretty much whole right. Yeah? So I thought, right, that's great, awesome. Unfortunately, that's not what the game ended up being. The main problem with it is that the physics system in the game, it doesn't feel like Sonic in any way. None. Like, you don't have Sonic's about momentum. It's not about speed, it's about momentum. It's not about going fast all the time. It's about the momentum that you get. And, like, a lot of the platforming has to be solved by momentum. It's like, you go down here to get up enough speed to get up above.
Like
Right.
Tribes.
Yes, exactly.
Except-
like Tribes.
no.
All about momentum. Although Tribes, you gotta go fast.
And you gotta shoot people too.
Yeah. That's
So not at all like
So
Tribes.
it's like
like-
Tribes, but not at all like.
You've essentially,
no!
you've got to go fast in Tribes. So, if you don't go fast, then you're not doing it properly.
If we're doing stupid stuff now. Yeah.
Wow, that's more interesting than Jesse on cam. Why do you keep doing that? In the meantime, I'll
Even I agree. You can't beat them.
yeah, that's true. You can't. Anyway, so the momentum was one problem. The second problem was the fact that Sonic level design was actually pretty intricate, right? You can go through levels in multiple ways. Like, if you look at the way that a Sonic 1 or a Sonic 3 level is designed, it's usually done so very, very well. And Sonic 4, it wasn't. Like, there was one way through the level, and everything else was just fall into a pit and die, which wasn't very interesting. They tried to evoke the memories of different Sonic levels. Like, there was a casino-based level. There was, I think, Splash Hill, which is just Green Hill, but more boring. And there was a cave level, which had you lighting torches, which I'm pretty sure was from Sonic 3. And the whole thing was just colossally dull. It really was. You got no sense of speed. You got no sense of momentum at all. And the music was horrible, which was a big thing, because the Sonic music's always been great. The music was
I had
dreadful.
it stuck in my head because of this.
Yeah, I have it stuck in my head right now. And
Splash Hill Zone just sounded terrible. It's no chemical plant, let's be honest. Not even any Green Hill. So this was all bad. So they went back to the drawing board, and apparently Sonic 2's physics is much, much better. Like, it's much closer to what Generations is, which is very good, by the way. It's much closer to the Generations physics engine from classic Sonic.
I really liked Generations.
It's a great game. It was just great. It was an awesome Sonic game. It even felt like they got the modern Sonic right. I usually don't like playing modern Sonic, but I actually enjoyed the modern Sonic sections in that game. It felt good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Now
a
that
lot.
I think about it, I did play Sonic 4,
Oh,
but only I played it before it was released, and it was like in a tournament, like the final round of a tournament I was in at a convention.
a
I
tournament.
completely forgot about it. I did really bad because I never played Sonic, so let's just leave it at that. That's probably why I forgot. I did not win the final round of the tournament. Let's just put it that way.
I just want to point out that someone made a huge mistake in the chat. The huge mistake was saying that wasn't the worst Sonic music out there. The music for Sonic R is beyond abysmal. Yes, I have the entire soundtrack right here, and it looks like I found my break music. Wonderful. You're going to regret that.
Yeah.
VOD listeners, anyone watching on the VOD, just be glad. Just be glad that you're not about to suffer this. But yeah, Sonic 4, there's, bad. Bad. but hopefully Sonic 4 Episode 2 isn't. We shall see. Now is a great time for a break. When we come back, assuming your ears aren't bleeding, we'll be talking about the host-submitted topics for this week. You are watching the Game Station podcast. Suffer like G did. Welcome back to the Game Station podcast. An amazing, masterful piece of music right there from Sonic R. Can You Feel the Sunshine? Could you have guessed what the title of that track was by the chorus? Jesus.
Hey, Dodger.
Well,
How long was that song? I just want to hear you say it.
like so fucking long.
How long? It was long as
Fuck.
What the hell?
You missed that while it was playing.
You missed it.
For about 5 minutes, like, this song is long as fuck.
What?
It was
That's why you
amazing.
don't eat during a
It was
break,
awesome.
because then you bite your gum and it starts bleeding.
What?
Applicable.
I have very strange wisdom teeth back there when they came in. I always bit my gums. I think I'm okay, though. I'll be fine.
Oh,
I'll
good.
be all right.
Keep
That's
us
my-
updated.
That's my speed eating injury.
Oh my god, why is this? Go on. Don't worry about it.
This might be the most, like, entertaining part of the show.
Yeah.
I can't get it open. You'll see. Find out next time on the TGS podcast. We should end it right there.
You just
It's like a Dragon Ball.
guys.
So we talk about games on here.
We do. We have
Video game.
we have
Because this-
host topics.
If we don't, this podcast will be long as fuck.
I think everyone should know that Austin caused all of this.
What did I do?
Curse those sandrakers and their
You
treachery.
made the mistake of saying, "Man, how long is this song?"
Oh,
How long is it?
Yeah.
that was you guys' thing. I wasn't a part of that. I just
You were eating pizza.
I
You
was too busy stuffing my face. And then I had to interrupt my little meal there to dance.
Yeah. I'm sorry
Wow.
about that. That had to be done. I interrupted Jesse playing on his phone. He was
That's
talking.
okay. I was already dancing in my heart.
Yeah.
So
So
I love-
we do
I
actually
love
have
it.
some trailers, by the way. Something I forgot. Where it's like, let's look at trailers. Trailers are good. Let's do
Yeah.
trailers.
let's
So-
do that.
Let's do that before we talk host topics.
Okay.
Alright. First one I've got. It's about dinosaurs. It's called Primal
Go
Carnage.
Oh.
Let's have a look at it. Well, that's pretty much man the game. I want it.
I was just gonna say, can
That's
we
how
all
you
do
play.
this?
That's how you play.
Please.
All the dinosaurs. I gotta say the highlight of that trailer was Raptor ragdoll physics.
Yes.
The Raptor and that was definitely the highlight for me.
I was going to say, the highlight for me was all the dudes shooting at that dinosaur who could not give less of a shit. Just
Yes.
walked by, never got hit, and they're all shooting at it. I was like, what is happening?
Like the entire time, all I could imagine was that scene in Jurassic Park where the guy's like, "Clever girl." Like that. I was like, this is the greatest. Like it looks so ridiculous.
I actually am interested. I actually really want to play that game.
I
I want to shoot
Yeah.
at a T-Rex while it is chasing me. I want to do that.
Yeah, I love the fact that I was reading through the website while we were doing this. I was looking at, under a section called "Why Is It Unique?" And the fourth line down, Primal Carnage is one of the few games based around dinosaurs. And that's the end of the point.
That's true.
It's like, you know what? I can't actually argue with that point. That's not bad.
That is
Valid
okay.
point.
Okay, that might be the only type of game better than guns and boobs. Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs with guns and boobs might be the greatest game ever. Get on that world.
Dinosaurs with boobs carrying guns.
Carrying guns. Holy shit. That
It's a
would be
revelation.
awesome.
Just hit me.
Wow, you should be in game development.
I should be making games.
So a bit of information about Primal Carnage. It is an indie developed game
Boobasaurus
using
sex.
the Unreal Engine, Unreal 3 specifically. You can play a pterodactyl, I notice. You've got a flying one, which is cool. There are 5 kinds of dinosaurs, there are 5 kinds of humans, there are 5 multiplayer levels supposedly in this thing. It's like going to be a $10, $15 PC-based title. Jesse finds it hilarious, evidently.
Did I miss something? Did I ADD out at the wrong time?
I made a name for the dinosaur with boobs.
It was a good one.
It was Boobasaurus sex.
Really? Is that going to be the next Kickstarter? We're doing that.
Start it up. Start it up.
Just get it done.
Boobasaurus wreck. No, Boobasaurus sex, and we have to come up with a name for the gun. I don't know. And the sawed-off.
What kind of gun is it? What kind of
A
gun
sawed-off
is it?
shotgun. Boobasaurus sex carries a sawed-off shotgun because her little tiny fingers can't carry anything bigger. She can't carry any guns you have to hold like this because her arms don't.
Right.
They
It'd
don't
be
reach.
the competitor for Lollipop Chainsaw.
Yes.
It's essentially the same plot.
genre.
Sexiest dinosaur. Here's the thing. It's not like a glorified sex dinosaur like that.
I never thought I would hear that phrase uttered.
The term.
It's okay, guys. It's not like a glorified sex dinosaur or anything. Just
You guys are just perverted. Let's think about this.
It's just a giant T-Rex with just a bikini on and lipstick, just killing people.
We are selling this game right now. We are selling it. Everybody's gonna go buy Primal Rage right now, and they're gonna be like, "Where's the Boobasaurus sex? They said it was gonna be in there."
Oh no! Someone in the comments said it's not a shotgun. Boobasaurus sex dual wields pistols, dual wields handguns. That makes
With
no
his
sense.
little raptor arms.
Right? But again, giant T-Rex, bikini, oversized bikini, and bikini bottoms, and just running around shooting things and eating people. But we're not trying to sell sex. We're trying to sell a dinosaur in a bikini, really.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Pitch this to the people making Primal Rage.
it sounds like the new grittier version of Rampage.
Yes.
God.
Yes.
Rampage. Yes. More of that.
Boobasaurus.
Somebody linked a picture of a T-Rex with boobs on it.
What? Why did I think that existed? Yeah.
It's not about sex. It's about a dinosaur in a bikini.
It's not about sex, guys. It's got a serious meaning behind it.
Yes.
It's a deep philosophical adventure.
The metaphor for
Between every
society.
chapter, it does one of those like quotes, like Socrates quotes. I don't know why, but they're there. So like the game seems deeper than it actually. Then you go and you eat people's heads off.
Right, of course.
But it's like in the valley of the blind, the man with one eye is king. Chapter 3.
In the country of the blind, not valley of the blind.
Whatever.
Whoa!
Whatever.
That freaked me out.
Sorry.
Dodger is
really
our
good.
voice actress. She
Clever
plays
girl.
Really good.
Source Sex. Put that on your resume, please. I want that number
Done it.
1. Voice actress, Boobasaurus Sex.
Indeed. All right.
What were we talking about? What was happening?
Primal Rage.
Glorified sex dinosaurs is what we're talking about. Yeah. Primal Carnage. That's alpha footage, of course.
Primal Carnage.
Like, hopefully they make the guns slightly smaller, but everything else looks rather amusing. So do keep an eye out. The website is primalcarnage.com, which will most likely not exist in a few more moments' time, but I'm sure it'll be back up by the time the VOD comes out. All right, next trailer. This is, I wouldn't say the sequel to World of Tanks, it's just by the same company. It's called World of Warplanes. It's not so much a trailer, it's footage of the heavy fighters in action. So let's take a look. Alright, there you go. A little bit of footage from World of Warplanes. Guys that brought you World of Tanks and are also going to be bringing you World of Battleships, which honestly is the game that I'm most excited about.
I was just gonna say, can we skip to battleships?
Yeah, I did ask them this in an interview. It's like, can we just have that one sooner? Because I just want to drive around a big boat and blow things up. That sounds like fun. But yeah, the World of Tanks is a pretty cool free-to-play game. Very, very popular free-to-play game. And needless to say, it involves upgrading through various different kinds of tanks and going into battles. I wouldn't call it a massively multiplayer game in the sense that you don't wander around the world and pick up quests as a tank. That would be kind of great if you could. You just go up to the quest giver, you actually run the quest giver over, and yeah, that would work out pretty well for
The
me.
quest giver's
another
like,
tank.
collect 3 bear asses.
It's like, collect
On
me
it.
emergency medical attention, but
I want it to be like Thomas the Tank Engine, where the tanks are actually the ones talking to you. It's
yeah,
just like,
that would be
Yes.
great.
we
World
need
of
you to
Tanks.
go over there and blow some stuff up. That would be. I would play that.
to get that made.
Yeah,
Kickstarter.
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 Oh, jeez.
Yep. World of Warplanes, looking nice. I mean, I've always liked air combat games. The problem is a lot of them are really bad, and the ones that we've had recently are kind of.
I
It
really
looks
want a
nice.
new Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, it looks nice. It just looks slow. Like for some, I don't know how they do it, but the guys who do the Ace Combat trailers
They
make
always
that game
it
look
fast.
so fast paced.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it plays
oh
that way
my
too.
God. Yeah, yeah.
It's got the
But,
sense of speed that Need for Speed has got in the racing genre.
Right. And this, I mean, it looks visually cool, but the trailer for it is like they should have jazzed it up because they don't want the straight game footage, which is great, but it's also like.
Dun, 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 dun,
I was gonna say, I don't know. They put that hard
It's just
rock
like
in
that
there.
same loop. That same loop over and over.
Yeah,
was
it
really selling
does.
for
It
me.
didn't. I'll definitely give you that though. It didn't really have the sense of speed that I was really looking for from a dogfighting game. But then again, of course, this is like alpha
Yeah, the
footage.
planes they're
It's-
using.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you can't have like supersonic jets when you're like.
Well, you can.
Yeah.
That's actually something they were considering putting in, the kind of secret weapons, the wonder weapons. And of course, by the end of the war in 1945, there were jets. They were
but
pretty
not
crappy.
Yeah, but not everyone. Yeah, yeah. Like they existed, but their functionality. Why are we having a history discussion? History major, by the way. I know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Never, ladies and gentlemen watching, never waste your time and money going to college to major in
Study
history.
history.
Don't never do the stupid thing and double major in history and theater because you have no future.
Oh no.
None.
You could teach
makes
a
you feel better.
historical theater class.
Yeah, that's true. I took theater history. Those are real.
So basically, Dodger is also in the same boat of having no future.
I majored in theater, minored in the arts, which was the most bullshit minor ever.
So here you
The
go.
arts.
Two people who, if they weren't doing this, would be homeless right now.
Am I the only person here that's got a real degree?
I'd be working at Starbucks.
I think so.
Dear
Yeah.
God. Not
Waste-
that mine helped
waste
me in
of
any
time.
way. Except
Yeah,
give me
yeah.
a big... It's like, yeah,
Waste-
I can't
waste
say a
of
damn
energy,
thing. It's like,
buddy.
I got a real degree. What am I doing? Working on YouTube, obviously. Making gaming videos, doing this stupid podcast.
No shame.
Yeah.
No shame, man.
Oh, dear.
Totally worth it.
That's stupid. Who would do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
Kind of
Make
morons.
YouTube videos.
Yeah, World of Warplane's coming at some point. Don't think it has a release date yet, but it's looking pretty interesting. The only thing I hope that it doesn't have is the gold ammunition from World of Tanks, because that's the most BS thing. Essentially, you can buy gold ammo in World of Tanks, which is a free-to-play game. It makes you better. Yeah,
Oh, I hate that shit.
that's a terrible idea. It's just awful.
I don't see why gold ammo would make you better.
Well, no. Generally speaking, it wouldn't if it was being realistic. It's like the bullets are made of gold. That's not a good... you don't want to make bullets out of gold. That's pretty stupid.
And
If I was gonna die though, I'd want to die by a gold bullet.
I
I
want to
want
die
to
by
die
an
by a
ice.
silver bullet.
I want to die by an ice bullet, because no one would know what killed me.
That is true.
And they'd be like,
That would
it's,
be
it's crazy.
They'd make a movie about your death.
Honestly, they'd say it was eating 12 packages of Tim Tams.
That's probably what
We've
did
come
it.
to the
Like,
conclusion
that's what did it.
that the
Tim
bullet
Tam.
hole in his
There's
body.
a hole
is
through his
caused
heart.
by the Tim
That was
Tams.
probably caused by Tim Tams.
Actually, I want a coroner just stand over me and say, like, it wasn't the bullet that killed him, 'twas beauty that killed the beast. Boom. And fade to black. That's how I envision
Fade
life.
to black on your life.
After I'm dead, life just sort of, it ends. Fade to black. The story's over for everyone.
Does your life get credits?
Yes, and in my credits,
I want credits when I die.
I am
This is all the stuff.
Everybody's like,
And I can go, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember the dibba dips. Oh
Yes.
yeah, look at that.
in my credits,
We're back to
I'm
this
played
again.
by a young George Clooney, and TotalBiscuit is played, let's say, by Hank Azaria. Dodger is what's that one girl?
yeah, who is she? Who is that one girl?
That you
Great
know the one who
Oh, the one.
Charlize Theron.
let's go with
Throwing
something
out
a little less annoying. Like I know that person. No.
Thompson.
No. All right, you're played by that one. You're played by the one girl who was on Friends, who is
Jennifer Aniston.
not Jennifer Aniston and not Courtney Cox. The other one, or the third girl. You're her.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with the chat. I want to see TB as Sean Connery.
TB is not Sean
That's a
Connery.
good one.
No, that's true. Yes, TB.
Sean Connery's got more hair than I do.
TB is current Sean Connery though, not old sexy Sean. TB is current Sean Connery. Right? Not like 1960s super suave Sean Connery. TV is current Sean Connery, and Austin is a dip. Austin played by
I should be played by whoever it was that played Shaggy in the live action Scooby Doo movie.
Oh, good call.
Whoever that guy was. I don't remember.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is, but yes.
I remember
that
what he
guy.
looks like.
It's the same actor who was in the Wing Commander movies.
So, why are we back in the movies again? Oh, yes, it's because Jesse's talking. Let's go on to the final trailer, shall we? Hitman Absolution. Hitman. Latest game in the Hitman series. The 5th game in the Hitman series, in fact. Let's take a look.
So where do you want us?
You? Nowhere. But cover and secure the area up there. It's gotta be here.
We've put the sophisticated art of assassination at your fingertips. You play as the world's most dangerous man, only known by his code name, Agent 47.
Find that girl.
He was made to do what he does, and he does it expertly. His kills can be intimate and painless, or they can be gruesome and violent. 47 excels either way. It's all up to you.
No, we haven't got
Are you a silent assassin?
Gotta be.
Or do you want to kill everyone in your way? Both require exceptional skill to master. Think of them as tools, and command 47's abilities with creativity. Adapt as the world reacts.
So much here, man. We'd be fucking rich.
Use your instinct. Experiment. Switch tactics. Improvisation is your deadliest weapon. Use it, and you'll never fail. Next time, we'll be looking at the tools of the trade.
There you go, folks. Look at Hitman Absolution, which is looking pretty solid, honestly. The first trailer they put out really was a bit it was too much shooting, honestly. Hitman's never really been about killing everybody, although you could. And I think this is something that people do forget. I played the entirety of Hitman 2, and you can do that by just shooting everybody. It's really not a big deal, but you're not really rewarded for it, and you're not supposed to. Blood Money, you had these news articles that actually changed at the end of every mission, depending on how stealthy you happened to be, and how much evidence you left. And Hitman was always about actually taking a choice of how you wanted to deal with the target, and also being sneaky and being clever. It was pretty
Some
good.
of the mechanics of this from this gameplay trailer remind me of Arkham City.
I was
Like
just
in
about to
new
say that. Yeah, it
Batman
kind of looked.
games.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Which
that's
I'm cool with because I love those games.
Yeah, that's true. There was one thing that I was reading in an interview that was really cool, that you actually have a button which allows you to, if you're wearing a hat, to kind of lower your hat when you're passing people that are suspicious so they can't see your face, which is a pretty cool idea in my opinion. But it's always been about disguises and about sneaking around and also about tricking people. I recall there were various ways to deal with the target in the first mission of Hitman Blood Money. And you could also do various things to the secretary, including putting poison in her coffee and having her drink that and things like that.
Yes.
Or you could avoid her altogether. It had a lot of different choices in that regard.
It seemed to put a big emphasis on improvisation.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't played a single game in the franchise, but that actually looks really cool. So
Yeah, I do
It's
love
got my
Hitman games.
interest.
I'm just terrible at them. Really bad.
I think I would be too, actually.
Yeah.
But it looks fun.
I think it's what I hoped Assassin's Creed would be, but it never was. Because Assassin's Creed,
Yeah.
I hoped it was the whole like planning to take out the target and then assassinate the target and things like that. And it doesn't happen. You just stab the target essentially, and none of the preparation matters, and then you run away, and that's about it. But Hitman always did things a bit differently, and I'm a fan of that franchise. It was really, really good. And it's also one of those franchises that didn't suffer from going into console. And Hitman 2 was on console. In fact, I think even the original Agent 47 was. But it was still a really nice, complex stealth game with lots of cool ways to deal with stuff. And Blood Money was, I think, the best in the franchise so far, which was the fourth game.
Yeah, I feel like the first game that I played that kind of had that option of you can choose to just barrel through, or you can choose to stealthily kill or even not kill at all. I feel like the first game that I played that was like that was Prince of Persia. But Hitman, I think, did it like in a more complex way.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very good at it. The original game was actually balls hard. Like, you couldn't save during a mission there was all sorts of really horrendous stuff in that game. But it's been a really good franchise up to this point. There hasn't really been a bad game in it. I'd say the Contracts wasn't as good as 2 or 4, but it's definitely worth it. Oh, there you go.
I just have to point out that the first trailer, we were all like, "Lol, dinosaur with boobs." The second game, we were all like, "Oh, talking tanks." And this one, we're like, "Yes, Hitman."
I don't think there's any way to make Agent 47 funny. Like, that's a very serious game.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing a video about Hitman, but I might play it.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know.
This is your
Funny.
challenge, Austin. Play this game, make it hilarious. I need you to do this
if you
for
want to
me.
make it hilarious, I can tell you what you need to do. You need to go watch the Aussie Gamers playthrough of Blood Money. Yeah.
I think it'd be funnier as a playthrough than like an actual, like a video like I would do. I think it would be much funnier as like a playthrough.
Yeah, he did an amazing playthrough of Hitman Blood Money. It's absolutely worth it. And bear in mind, like he did the Assassin's Creed videos. He's very, very good at the whole assassination thing. He's very methodical. He's very clever. So yeah, that playthrough is stellar. Definitely worth having a look at over on the Aussie Gamer. With Zeds, of course. Alright, so that's us through the trailers. So let's get on to topics, shall we? Starting with our special guest, Austin. What have you got for us?
Put me on the spot. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Here's what I got. Single player and multiplayer.
Wow, my mind is truly blown.
Oh my God.
Thank God we
Wait,
brought
whoa,
you
whoa,
on
whoa.
this show.
How come every week I act like an idiot and become a complete fool, and then our guest just outdoes me? Says something way stupider. I feel redeemed by the end of every episode. I'm okay with this. Continue, please.
If I have to elaborate, I guess I
You
will.
do.
I guess what my topic idea was. It sort of stemmed from. So some of my friends are listening to the podcast right now, so they can listen to me talk about them. But it sort of stemmed from like Diablo 3 coming out, and it was sort of like, oh, who all's gonna play with who? And I didn't even at first I didn't even think about it because I'm used to playing Diablo as a single player game, and so it kind of like started to get me thinking like, I kind of am a single player game. I'm kind of like a single player gamer at heart. I love multiplayer games and I love playing games with my friends and stuff. But when it really comes down to it, it's like, to me, like the most satisfying, the biggest high of being a gamer to me, like one of them anyway, is beating a really good single player game. Or even any game, any single player game. I've beat some really bad games and I was like, yeah, I beat it. Like it's just like, that's cool to me. And it's something that I don't get from playing multiplayer games. And so maybe you guys just share your opinions on which kind of thing you prefer and why, and maybe touch upon the industry moving towards a lot of multiplayer, and like they have to add multiplayer into every game that they do. It seems like
It is becoming. It's been a thing for the past couple of years that sequels have had multiplayer in them, and it continues to happen. A good example would be a game we mentioned earlier, Max Payne 3. For the first time, the series has multiplayer, which I've never felt like it needed. I mean, that game is about killing a bunch of dudes while in bullet time and jumping on the floor a lot. Like, Max Payne loves the floor. He adores the floor. He wants to be on the floor. And as a result, he hurls himself from one side to the other while shooting onto the floor, then gets up and does it again. And I don't see that working in a third-person multiplayer game. It does work in some first-person games. Like there was a Half-Life mod called The Specialist, for instance. There was also a Half-Life mod called Action Half-Life that did that really, really well. But it doesn't even seem like the kind of multiplayer that I'd be interested in, and I'm not sure why they're putting it in there. Is it just because they feel like it's got to have it? Is it because they feel like it's a good way to monetize it for DLC? Because it's really easy to sell DLC for a multiplayer game. You just sell map packs, which is terrible, I might add, and you shouldn't do it, but companies do it anyway.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think it might have something to do. This is just something I just thought of as possibly, obviously, like it's sort of this idea that like, oh, if I can't play my game on multiplayer and get a like super long experience out of it after I beat the game, then it's not worth buying, and I'll just go get it used or something like that. I'm sure that
Yeah,
might play
maybe.
something.
Yeah, the thing is, like, it doesn't stop on 360 and PS3. It doesn't stop used games anyway, unless it's one of those multiplayer pass games, which we've seen before. You know, the whole online pass, which it most likely will be. I'd be surprised if they didn't do that.
For me, like, I've always preferred single player games, and even in MMOs, I get annoyed when I get to that point in it where I have to work with people. I don't know why. I've just never been somebody who plays games very much with people. I really enjoy being able to do things at my own pace and to really take my time. Like I get really obsessive about finding everything in the game,
Yep.
and I feel kind of like stressed for time when I know that other people are relying on me.
Mhm.
So I've always preferred single player games, but because of that, I don't games adding in multiplayer, as long as it's not my only option, I'm totally fine with it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
We played Left 4 Dead 2 that one time.
We did.
And I remember that it like ended up just us screwing around in like the starting zone area because none of us were
locking each other
actually
out
playing.
and then waiting for the horde to kill each other.
Yeah, basically. That's what it ended up turning
That was
into.
awesome. Yes, I remember that.
That's essentially what every Left 4 Dead game has ever turned into for me. I
That's how
think
every
it's-
Left 4 Dead game ends.
Just
Dude,
nipping-
everybody starts shooting each other. That's how it ends.
Yeah, that's. I think Mass Effect 3 is a good example of this as well, and people probably played the beta of that even if they didn't buy the full game, because the beta was what, 30 minutes of game content and then 2 levels of multiplayer. Like, you could play the hell out of that, no problem at all, and a lot of people did. And some people argued that it took away from the single player experience. And there was the whole thing about having to maybe do the multiplayer in order to get get the best possible rating in the single player, which technically wasn't true, but it certainly made it a hell of a lot easier. And the other point being that if you spend time developing the multiplayer, it really takes away from the single player. I don't know if that's really true in Mass Effect 3. I mean, they use locations from the game, so it's not like they had to design the levels, they just had to tweak them a bit. They use the same character models that are already in the game. They use the same weapons that are already in the game. The same enemies that are already in the game. I can't imagine there was an awful lot of work put into it, but from what I played of the beta, it was actually pretty fun. I probably wouldn't play a lot of it, but as horde modes go, it's definitely one of the better ones. So I don't object to it being there, but in RPGs, I don't see the point in having a competitive multiplayer mode most of the time. It doesn't seem to really gel with the game concept.
Somebody was telling me that they feel like one of the reasons that so many games are putting in multiplayer is because they're hoping that if their game doesn't stand the test of time, they'll at least get a little bit more play time out of it by people feeling like they can play together.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like saying, well, I've played as much of this game as I want, but my friend is still playing it and they want to play multiplayer, so I guess I'll play multiplayer.
I'll dip
with
back
them.
into it, yeah. So
Yeah.
They don't trade it in and get something else and things like that.
Right.
But initially, when it comes down to the basic question of multiplayer versus single player, it's it goes safe to say it's all personal preference. But I think a good example is with Diablo 3 coming out, because we talked about it. There's story to that game, and I've turned down many people who were like, "Hey, let's do multiplayer, like let's have fun and go kill stuff." And I'm like, I'd rather not be on everyone else's timetable or make them wait for me while I sit through all the cutscenes and watch everything and enjoy what's happening. Well,
kind of the table I was on.
Yeah, like everyone has their own speed of how they want to do things. And when it comes to games that are very heavily story driven, I like to sort of experience it at my own pace. And trust me, I have my own pace. Anyone's watched any videos, I'll take like 10 minutes in a single room. And that's me being fast. Like if I wasn't recording, I could sit like in say Skyrim, I would look through every ounce of, and the only reason why I miss stuff is because I'm not like, people will be like, "You missed that." It's because somewhere in the back of my mind, like, keep moving, Jesse, keep going forward.
This entire video is going to be just this room.
Yeah.
And when I'm not playing things in front of like a video camera recording, I will sit there and I will explore everything because that's how I do stuff. And if there's story, I'll read every ounce of story information there is. Everything there is to do, I want to see it. And I don't like playing multiplayer games where if there's something to see, I'll miss it. Like for example, in WoW during the Deathwing fight, there's like actual in-game cutscenes, and the very first time we ever beat that, you can just press spacebar and skip them. The very first time we ever beat that, they're like, "We're going to the next boss, go!" And I'm like,
I want to watch this.
Yeah, like let me see it. So I showed up to the fight like 2 minutes late, but I didn't give a damn.
I did like the first like dungeon I did. I stopped playing WoW, but I did play a little bit with the new expansion just to try it out. And the first dungeon I did, we killed a boss, and like there was this like cutscene. I was like, oh cool, I'm gonna watch it. And so I watched it all the way through, and then I finally got out, and the rest of my party is freaking doing the next boss already. I'm just like, oh, my bad. Like sorry, I was watching the thing.
And that's the inherent problem with story-driven multiplayer content, because some people don't give two shits about the story, and other people love it. And unfortunately for everyone else around me, story is the only reason why I play games. Like, I guess I could say I have fun playing them. Like, there's some games I enjoy actually playing, but 90% of the reason I'll sit down to play a game is because I want to see what the story is. And don't care, like, oh, I got myself a plasma rifle and now I'm gonna hide behind this crate and blow people. Don't give two shits. I love the story, and that's why I'm playing games. So
This
On the other
coming
hand,
from the dude who said that TB and I were dumb for really wanting a zombie game that was about the story and not about killing the zombies. Just calling you out right now.
but I guess
what kind of
Zombie-
zombie story can you
Yes.
have that hasn't already been done?
yeah, like I want a really good zombie story. Here's how it goes. Zombies come, people kill them, they either escape or they don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna back
Story.
Jesse on this one. Like, there's no zombie story he can come up with has not been done already.
Yeah.
But it's the difference between a game being about the story versus having this like limp framework of there's zombies and then they kill people, but
Well,
really the game is shooting zombies.
But let's be honest, when it comes to zombie stories, the good ones aren't about the zombies. They're about the people, and the zombies are just in the background as sort of like
This
a
is why it
catalyst.
should change. It should be about the character development of the zombies. Obviously, that's what it should be about.
That's not a game. That's a movie, and we don't talk about movies in this podcast.
That's the best you got.
Anywho.
That's how it's gonna be.
Really it is. I got nothing. I got
Yeah.
nothing.
So, do we even have a conclusion on this multiplayer, single-player topic? Probably not.
Didn't need one really.
No, you don't.
There's no
It's just full
conclusion.
time.
Personal
It's cool.
preference. Yeah. I mean,
Personal preference, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't want to see single-player sacrificed for multiplayer. I don't think anyone wants to see that, really.
I agree. And and no multiplayer that affects the single player.
Yeah,
in-
yeah, definitely
major way.
keep that. And also, just for a flip on it, if you happen to be making a multiplayer-orientated game, please do not just tack a single player on for the
Yeah,
sake of
don't
believing that
same
people
shit.
want it, because
Really,
they
either
don't.
way.
Battlefield 3.
They don't necessarily want that.
I have not even played the single player of Battlefield 3.
don't waste your
It's
time. horrible. Don't even waste.
I just assumed
It's
it was.
actually awful.
What you
That's
should
actually
do.
one thing. Sorry,
Sorry.
go ahead. Okay, I'll go. That's actually one. It wasn't even that important. That's actually one thing I actually have always liked about Call of Duty, is I always liked the single player for what it was anyway. I thought it always had
All
really
3
cool
hours of
epic
it.
moments. Yeah, I mean it's short. You get through it and it's like, okay, that was worth it. I always felt like it was worth it. But I mean after COD, Modern Warfare 2, I was just like, nice.
Scripted.
I was
Horribly
just going to
scripted.
say that if you want to see the single player campaign of Battlefield 3, you should just watch somebody play it on YouTube and rage about it. Because
It's much more fun that way. Most of it
That's
is
the
you're not
best.
playing it anyway. You're just being dragged along. The jet fighter sequence in the second level was the most embarrassingly horrible thing.
oh my god.
It's just like, oh, I'm
That
gonna get to fly a
made me laugh
plane.
so
No,
much
you're in the
watching people play that
co-pilot seat
Oh yeah.
with a horrible rail shooter. You're
You're gonna
spotting
feel bad.
targets. It's
Isn't
terrible.
that the
On
game?
Windows, though.
Isn't that the game where you like gut a rat?
Yes. Oh yeah, the rat
Yeah.
QTE. That is the best
Yes.
QuickTime event.
I've
Yeah.
never seen it, but I've heard of it.
You can actually die to the rat somehow. Oh yeah,
No
yeah, you can.
way.
You can die to the rat. Like it bites
Like
you too many
people kill
times,
you?
and I'm pretty sure that the people then figure out where you are because it's making too much noise, unless you stab the rat quick enough. So yeah, that is a rat-based life or death situation, which
That
is
is-
unusual.
I was unaware. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's in there. It is in there.
That-
Probably the best part of the game.
Rat
Probably.
can kill you. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, actually, the only video you need to watch on Battlefield 3, other than mine, is Rage Quit. Go to Rage Quit and look for Rage Quit Battlefield 3, because that's just beyond silly. All right, topics-wise, let's go on to Dodger. What have you got for us?
I have wanted us to talk about this topic for weeks, and we keep taking this section out. Okay.
Yes.
God, I hope that I can still actually explain it correctly. So I was talking with a friend about indie games, and maybe TB will probably have the most to like contribute about this. I don't know how much
Maybe.
Austin and Jesse play indie games, but the conversation had to do with whether or not you could say legitimately that indie games are easier to make or harder to make in terms of making one that winds up being popular. Because typically the indie games that do really well are the ones that have this like crazy art style and something like totally new and innovative about it. And then but typically it's like simpler in some sort of way. So I guess like there was just a big conversation going on about whether or not you could legitimately say that indie games are easier or harder to make in terms of it being successful. So I wanted to see what you guys thought about that.
That's a tricky one. Well, I mean, the first argument that can be brought up is, of course, cost. Indie games are cheaper to make, without question. And you also have a lot more flexibility and freedom to create an indie game. The problem is that for every braid, there are hundreds, if not even thousands, of indie games that barely sell any copies.
That's the thing.
And in the indie market, you've got to distinguish yourself more than you do in the mainstream market. The mainstream market, you can actually succeed purely on brand alone. Like a Call of Duty game, the next Call of Duty game could be terrible, it's going to sell anyway. And in fact, it's probably going to continue to sell. They could make 3 or 4 really bad COD games in a row, and only then would people start to think, you know what, I'm not really into this anymore. Because that's the strength of the brand, the strength of the franchise. Indie games don't have strength of franchise, so you've got to make a game that's truly stand out. And you were talking about art style. Making a unique art style is really hard. Because if you make one that you think is unique but actually isn't, it's even worse than in a mainstream title saying, oh, all the shooters look the same. And an indie game looks like, say, Castle Crashers. It gets ripped on for looking like Castle Crashers because people that are after indie games they're more interested in the innovation and the changes and the interesting style to it. So you're in an even worse spot there to distinguish yourself, I feel.
It's like a weird there's a weird like hipster mechanic to it all. Like you have to do something that is really new because I think indie games are looked on more than popular games right now. Indie games are looked on as a piece of artwork. So you can't be copying someone else's artwork essentially. You have to come up with something that is very new and interesting. But that's so tricky and you're right, so many people are making games that are classified as indie games.
What was the initial question?
The initial question, I like over-explained it, but it was whether a successful indie game is easy or hard to make, which I think that we can probably agree that it's hard.
The hardest thing in the world, yeah.
And it has to be so different from everything else.
It's luck as well, isn't it, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it has to be like a great example of an indie game, like the guys who make Botanicula or like all the that gaming company. All their games look just gorgeous, right?
Mm.
But at its core, it's just a point and click, but the look and feel of it is something very creative. I think that's what indie game developers have to do. They have to come up with something that looks it just looks like it's something you want to play. It doesn't necessarily have to be a creative game, but it has to look different and feel different than anything you've seen before because it doesn't
have that brand. So people have to be drawn in initially with visually almost.
Yeah, correct.
Right, and it's basically that idea of you need to sell them on something besides it's word of mouth is what it is. It's spreading it by word. Like, this game's good because you don't have the money, the funds to spam TV with ads featuring, like Jonah Hill blowing up cars, right? You don't have that ability. So I think that's the main problem of indie games is that they have to be overly artistic and creative with things that are sort of simple and you're an indie game. You're not going to make something genre changing,
right?
But you have to make it look like you're changing the genre with the style you do with it.
It feels
so-
like typically it's like one core idea, like one specific mechanic idea, and then they layer an interesting art style on top of it.
Right.
So you're like
Yeah.
drawn in visually, and then playing it is very simple but interesting. And from there, it can spread to pretty much anyone because it doesn't take a whole lot in order to be good at it or in order to have fun with it. It's just more of an experience game.
Yeah, like
But
what's that
yeah.
game? What's that game? The indie game that came out where you like have different kinds of blocks and you change them, and it's not Minecraft.
Millions of games.
I can't remember. I started
It's-
talking about it. And I can't remember.
It wasn't kind of a Portal
It
style
was a
game,
side
was it?
scroller.
Oh, side scroller.
Like
It's not Terraria, surely.
Wasn't that game with
No,
the,
no.
the pixels? You know,
They-
pixels in the music.
Actually, I think they did it on a TGS video with the indie game thing they used to do.
Oh.
And I don't remember what
That
it's
Dodges
called.
on
game.
it.
But
Dodges on it.
basically, the point was that it was all. I was just sort of agreeing with what Dodger was saying. It's all based around that one gameplay mechanic. Like there's one like specific gameplay mechanic, and then they just base the rest of the game off of that one specific
Yeah.
idea.
And a lot of indie games are just like that. It's that just simple game mechanic, the hook, essentially, that everything is built around. But I just feel that like, indie success... Sorry?
Blocks that
Blocks
matter.
that
Blocks that matter.
That-
Alright, okay. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
That was the most frustrating review I've ever seen in my life. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. Anyway, a lot of it is luck, honestly. Like, you think about... There are indie games that are really interesting and just don't sell a lot of copies. And then there are indie games that just seem to get this viral aspect to them and they sell a ton of copies. Minecraft is probably the biggest example of that. And then you've got Terraria, which did really, really well. And you've got to think, well, why did Terraria do really well? Price point certainly helped. Comparisons to Minecraft certainly helped. And a lot of coverage on YouTube really helped. Like, we did Terraria, Yogscast did Terraria...
I wouldn't even know what Terraria was if it weren't for people on YouTube.
Didn't oh, what the hell's his name? Cnanas did Terraria as well, didn't he? And quite a few other. Initially, like they did a couple of videos on it, which really did give it this kind of viral clout that a lot of games don't have. Magica actually had this as well.
That was the one. Yeah.
Yeah, and like Magica was mostly pushed, I think, through the videos that me and Yogscast did. And, those were having like 2-3 million views, and if you happen to be that popular, then you gain the publicity you require to actually sell a hell of a lot of copies.
Then you get a lot of word of mouth because a lot of people know
Exactly.
about it.
Yeah. And because I think that if a game's very let's playable, I suppose, and a lot of people end up doing it, then you end up getting a lot of popularity one way or the other. It's like Happy Wheels is really popular because it's that game is just infinitely let's playable. Like, everyone and their mother does it, and they're all freaking the same. But there's an awful lot of views surrounding that game for whatever reason. I think if your game has that viral quality, which is a very difficult thing to capture, I feel that it's always different for every game. Then you gain the necessary momentum. The problem is you can never guarantee that you'll get that, and most games don't. So that's tricky. That's a little bit difficult, honestly, and I would still say that it's harder to sell a single player game. It'd certainly be a indie game and be a runaway success than with a full price release, and there's just the one big difference is just marketing. You can browbeat somebody into submission with enough marketing that your game will sell. Indie games can't do that, and that's the biggest difference between the two.
It's true.
I think that's about it.
Everybody nodded their head.
Yeah. Nodding the head, that means acquiescence. That
Scene.
means that it's Jesse's turn.
Okay, I love this topic. I don't understand it. Hopefully someone can explain it to me.
Good.
Well,
Great. This is a good start. Here we go.
So, basically, Microsoft is going the... it was a rumor, now it's totally confirmed, was going the route of, like, phone companies.
Oh, Christ, I've already answered this on Mailbox.
Where now they have an Xbox 360 that you can purchase for extremely cheaper price, but you have to sign a 2-year contract with Microsoft. And
What?
Yes, yeah, it's not like basically. Let's see if I can give you the actual details. For $99, you commit to 2 years of an Xbox Live Gold membership at $15 a month, and you get a 4 gigabyte Xbox 360 and a Kinect. So basically, you're paying $99 up front, then paying $14.99 for 2 years for an Xbox. I don't understand what the marketing here is, and I don't know why they would lock you into a 2-year contract. I don't know who would buy this. It's all mind-boggling to me.
I got a great idea. What does everybody hate? Phone bills. Let's make the Xbox like a phone bill. It'll be great. Everybody will want it.
And when you think, I mean, I guess it sort of makes sense when you think about overall costs. I think someone crunched the numbers, and it's $99 plus $15 a month for 2 years, which is like $459, something like that. And a 4 gigabyte 360 with a Kinect is $299, and Xbox Live is like $60 a year. So basically, the bundle itself will cost you like $20, $30, $40 more than just buying everything outright.
And you have to deal with the bill.
Yeah, and I don't understand it seems like a nonsensical, if they said we're going to give you a 360 with like 150 gigs or something, I could see that being like kind of cool, but it doesn't make any sense. It logically makes no sense why Microsoft, I assume, in order to keep idiots playing when they release the 720 or whatever the next one is. I have no clue what is. I don't understand. I
have a 2-year contract. I might as well keep playing.
I'm hoping the world can explain it to me. TB has a look of I know the answer.
That's because I answered this yesterday on Mailbox, and I know the answer. But yeah, we can try. I need to now try and remember what I said, which is a bit of a problem. But can I just play the Mailbox video and
I was
just leave?
gonna say you should just bring up
do that.
the timestamp.
All right, so it makes sense for a number of different reasons. The first reason it makes sense is because the console's reaching the end of its lifespan, and they're looking for a way to tie someone in. I can tell you for a fact that the Xbox 720 is going to be out before that 2-year contract expires.
Right.
Yeah? But that's deliberate. Don't you get it? That's deliberate. They want that.
I don't understand it from a consumer standpoint.
No, I'm saying
Of course it's not good from a consumer standpoint. It's only good for people that for some reason do not have the money right now to plop down on an Xbox. I mean, it doesn't cost you less, as it wouldn't. It's a payment plan. Of course it doesn't cost you less. It never does. That's the point of a payment plan. But it's spreading out the cost of the machine over X number of years for people that can't afford the machine.
This is just like those, and I'm sorry if anyone works there or has family. This is just like those rent-to-own stores where you go there and you spend like $100 to get a giant big screen TV, and then you pay them out the ass for the rest of your life to own that TV.
So having actually bought furniture from a rent-to-own store before, but I didn't have a lot of money, and they essentially gave us a bed. I mean, when I first came to the States in 2007, I was sleeping on a couch for 3 months because we couldn't afford a bed. A rent-to-own place was the only way we could get one. Yes, of course we paid more for it. Of course you do. But
here's the thing.
There are stuff that you kind of need.
Right. Well, unfortunately, in your case, you're like in the minority there. I would be willing to pull out tons and tons of studies that show people who go to those places to buy things they don't need in order to just have them. And I think in this case of a 360, I'm willing to say that if you can't afford a 360, you probably are better off not owning one, because that's just going to put you in some weird type of debt to own something that is not even a necessity. It's just...
And then you're going to buy more games for it.
Right, and then you have to buy games. I mean, it's an inherently stupid thing. In fact, I would say a smart person would take their $99, put it somewhere. If you can't put it in a bank, put it in like a jar somewhere and bury it in the backyard. Save your money and buy the 720 when it comes out in a year and a half from now.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't buy the 720 when it came out. You'd just save up for 360 because the 360 is the cheapest it's ever been. You also wouldn't buy a Kinect with it. You got to bear in mind, the fact that it's got to connect with it should be indicative of who it's kind of aimed at. Yeah, it's obviously aimed at... It's either aimed at students or it's aimed at kind of low-income families. But here's the thing. What you are making the assumption...
That's sleazy.
Of course it's sleazy. You're making the assumption that this is good for people. It's not. Of course it's not good for people.
It's not. No, I mean, this is an incredibly, sleazy... I mean, if you're saying it's for low-income families, that makes... I mean, I agree. I think that's at its core what it is, and it's a very sleazy way of...
Yeah, of course it is.
of marketing to people, because basically they're locking people who can't afford it into contracts that by the time the contract's over, new things will already have come out, and they'll probably want them, if they're trying to do that, like keeping up with the Johnsons or whatever it is. Joneses, yeah. And so I mean, it's
actually
a ludicrous
yeah,
marketing plan.
Of course it is, but it's incredibly smart. Right? We both agree on this. So we're not even arguing here. It's incredibly smart.
You guys are arguing the same thing, but
yeah, exactly, with different words.
It's
incredibly smart, because if you think about it, if the 720 comes out in a year and a half, then you've got these guys with still 6 months left on the contract that will continue to buy Xbox 360 games, which is helpful it's helpful with the transition. The transition's always a really awkward time for any company. You know, you have massive losses and things like that. But I think what we should be talking about is not how they're doing it right now. It's the idea that it could work in the future and not be terrible. Because, let's be honest, right? If you buy one of these, which is a Droid 4, if you buy that on its own, you will probably pay about $600 to $700 for this phone without a contract, yeah? These phones are not affordable for the vast majority of people. They become affordable with the contract, and phone contracts are a fairly reasonable way of doing business. Yes, some of them are exploitative. Yes, there are plenty of providers that kind of try and screw you over there, but a phone contract is one of the best ways to own an extremely expensive, high-tech piece of kit that is actually useful in your day-to-day life, and not have to pay through your ass for it because it is designed to be spread out over a couple of years. So doesn't that also qualify for the next generation of consoles? Particularly bearing in mind, consoles are more than just gaming machines now, and they have been for quite some time.
True, but I mean, the flaw with the argument, and I would agree, it's probably like for the next generation, like say for example an iPad or whatever, they do that. They do like plans for that and stuff. But
it's a test bed for next generation, though, isn't it?
Right,
because
right.
They're looking to try and find out what the problems are with it now, with the old generation console, when they're not selling a huge amount of them anyway. So they get a bit of a sales boost, they get some useful data, they get to make the program work better, and then they end up doing it, and of course they also exploit people in the process. It's a winner for the marketing
From a
department.
business standpoint, this is an incredibly smart maneuver, but from a consumer standpoint, it's to do one of these. I mean,
it's
Xbox
stupid to do one of these.
720,
it's
whatever
stupid.
it is. Yeah, I mean, it's completely, because a phone, you need a phone for communication purposes. You do not need an Xbox 360. You do not need a PS3. That's not something you need in order to, like a bed you kind of need. A big screen TV, you don't need. You don't need that in life. And so I think the Microsoft plan is that people are going to see this and be like, oh, this $800, I don't know how much it's going to, let's say $800 machine is $200, and then I sign a 2-year contract. That's a great deal. But in reality, them locking you into the contract and all that stuff, they could mark up prices on just across the board, and you wouldn't know because you're paying like, oh, I'm going to pay $349. Well, $349 plus whatever you're paying over that 2-year period or however long the contract is could be like 1,000% more than the actual cost of the machine. And because it's stretched out over a long period of time, you won't feel that, but they will. They'll still collect your money and make a ton off of it. And it's all those plans are giant scams. Like, well, I mean, they're set up that way.
There is one, I would say there is one situation where the deal's actually okay. And that's you have in your mind, I want a 360 with Kinect, and I'm going to be playing on Xbox Live Gold, right? And you don't quite have the money for it now. It's not like you're paying 1,000% more. Like, it's not a massive amount of APR. It's about $40-50 more over the course of 2 years, which actually is not a lot at all. So if you are already looking for that, then it's a reasonable deal. The problem then becomes that if you are looking for that, 4 GB is not enough. If you're going to be an Xbox Live Gold user, I can guarantee you're going to fill that up really quickly. Like, you download one demo, that's half your hard drive. That's assuming you even have the 4 GB in total. It's probably got stuff on it that stops you from having that. I have a 150 gig PS3, and I'm constantly having to delete stuff, and all I download is games and demos. I don't download HD video content or anything like that. I don't install a lot of games on it, and yet I still have to clear stuff off it. So don't tell me that a 4 gig 360 is going to be enough for people. I don't think so.
The only way I could tolerate this, now that I think about it, The only way I can tolerate this is the way that I tolerate Verizon, the company that I use, is that every 2 years after your thing is up, they give you that, like, we'll give you a discount on the next phone you get at the end of that 2
Get
years.
you upgrade,
and it's a substantial discount. Like, it's really big. So if that was something that occurred, like, after...
That you could upgrade to the 720 at a discount, then yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it?
Then that would be an excellent deal. But they won't do that, so...
Yeah.
Garbage.
I find it amusing that
That
people
would be
still
great.
think you have to install every single PS3 game. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry, guys, we're not in 2007. It very much so you don't have to install a lot of them. Like, in fact, I'd say the vast majority of new games you do not have to install on a PS3. It's just not the case. But whatever the case, yeah, it's not a good plan. But it's going to make them money. And at the end of the day, if you do get kind of suckered into that, I find it difficult to feel sympathy for people that buy luxury items on payment plans.
That's what I was getting at. I didn't want to seem like I was being an offensive dick, like, you don't deserve a bed, right? But what I'm saying is there's a difference between things you need and things you want. And the problem is that commercial society, companies like Microsoft convince you must have a 360. And here's how you can get it real cheap, which is just total bullshit. Like, I mean, that's offensive on so many levels that I have issues with that.
The other problem is, like TB was saying, this is like marketed at, like, assuming that it's being marketed at, like, people who are in college and teenagers, it's easy for them to say, oh man, I can totally afford this and I want to be able to play this. Like, it's like a low impact way for me to be able to play these games that I really want.
Yeah,
But
admittedly,
they
if
don't.
you're in college, you shouldn't be getting Kinect because your room definitely won't be big enough for it.
That is so true. I
Guarantee
used to
it.
have
It's out
I
of the
used to
way.
have one of those big metal DDR pads. That was my all of my extra space in my dorm. Was that?
Kinect's even bigger than that. It's even bigger than what you need for PlayStation. I actually bought the game Kung Fu Live just to mess around with it, and I had a fairly big room back at my old place. Still not big enough. Like, couldn't get far enough away from the screen to play Kung Fu Live. And the Kinect is even worse than that. So, yeah, it's a fairly lame but very shrewd business strategy to once again sell more of a very old console to people. And it kind of sucks, but at the end of the day, it's not like we can stop it. And it is also just a trial program. It's only at about 14 different Microsoft stores. You can't get this anywhere else. So maybe it doesn't work out.
I like that until I read this article, I had no clue there was such a thing as a Microsoft store. I was like,
Yeah,
what
there
the
you
hell
go.
is
There's a Microsoft store.
store?
Same as an Apple store, only less pretentious and a bit more dull.
That's white.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty much done, folks. Aside from letting you know what we're doing this week. Dodger, since you're always the quickest to finish, what are you up to?
I see what you did there.
Do tell.
Jesse thinks he's got a shot.
Okay, so
I love dashing
I've
hopes.
got a news show that happens Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If
What?
you would like,
Tell me more.
you can watch my news episode tonight because this is Wednesday. I realized that I'm actually able to say that now that we do this in the middle of the week because before I couldn't say that. 'cause it was on a
Except you
weekend.
can't say that for the VOD. Like, if you're actually watching the VOD, it's not Wednesday.
Oh,
you're
that's
confused.
true. If you're
Sad.
watching this live, then
Well, they
watch
can
the
still
show
go watch
later.
it tonight because it'll be up already. See? See?
He's a smart one.
But that's what I consistently have going on.
Yep,
So
news
that's
show.
what you can count on.
Jesse, what are you up to?
I think I'm turning into Dodger at this point, where it's just like, same crap I do every week. Got some playthroughs. Gonna do some videos where I act like an idiot, make some funny jokes that aren't really funny, annoy
Me
TV, do a bunch of different things, and yeah. By the way, continuing Fahrenheit. If you have not seen the last episode of Fahrenheit, episode number
So
5, I
good.
suggest you go watch it. It's so good. In fact, Dodger, it was linked to her. I don't even know how. She was like, I saw that episode. I was like, oh, yay! There's a sex scene,
Dying.
and it's
Dying.
It's terrible.
You guys
it's a
watch
it's a
it.
dino-tastic sex scene. That's also I'll say that Bulbasaur sex makes an appearance. It's really good. That may be the best single game. Like, I can't even describe how good of a game it is. Fahrenheit, maybe. I have to thank TB for that. we found out about it here on this podcast. So
That we did. I said you've got to do a playthrough of it, and it's mostly so that you get horribly disappointed by the ending, but we'll see. Anyway,
Oh,
Austin, what are you up to? What you got coming up?
I actually lost a bet with a friend on a live stream. So I have to. So
is that why you're here?
Yeah, and here you go. I lost a bet, and she had. Our bet was she's another producer, and our bet was, if I win, I'll give her a game to do. If she wins, she gives me a game to do. So I am stuck doing a old MS-DOS game for 3-year-olds for my next video. Should be up in a week.
yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to it though, because I came up with some good ideas for it. So I actually wasn't that upset that I lost the bet. Although I totally lost the bet so badly.
Can't wait.
That looks good.
See it.
Yep, I'll be interested in seeing that, certainly. What am I doing this week? I've got a couple of videos coming up while I'm away. I'm going to San Diego on Thursday to go and possibly maybe... Am I supposed to say this? I don't know.
Say it.
Whatever,
No one
whatever.
watches this thing anyway.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. I'm going to go have a look at Planet
All
Side
those
2.
6,000 people are just idle, like they're off somewhere
Yep.
else. Not paying attention.
I'm going to SOE to go and have a look at Planet Side 2. So we'll see what we can do from that. Can't guarantee that there'll be footage, but I'm definitely going there. Hopefully ask some interview questions, see what the game is like. In the meantime, while I am gone, I have WTF is Revelations 2012, which is the worst game I've played in a year. It is utterly atrocious. So
I have to play it now.
if you want to watch 17 minutes of me bitching about how awful this game is, then you will love Revelations 2012. And what's the other one? Sniper Elite as well. I've got WTF is Sniper Elite V2 coming in. I'm trying to think what else have I got doing. I think that actually is about it, aside from the usual stuff. And Torchlight 2 beta footage, hopefully by tomorrow. We'll see if I can actually get that out. And
yeah.
I think that about covers it. So check out our channels. They are below. All right. That's where my channel is, right there. That's not where yours is. It's the other way, Dodger. So, no, not thumbs up.
What?
Down. That's where
Oh.
your channel is
Thumbs
there.
down.
Yes. There you go. Channel is below our face. If you want to follow us on Twitter, by all means, do so at TotalBiscuit or Cynical Brit if you just want the news and not the bullshit. Dex bonus.
Dex bonus
Yeah.
or heart continue with a 2.
Mm-hmm. Jesse.
Jesse Cox or OMF Jacata or Shabuzi.com.
And that other guy, youtube.com/peanutbuttergamer.
Yes. And your Twitter is... It's PeanutButterGMR, isn't it?
GMR, yes.
Yes.
I couldn't fit. I could never fit it all. Why did I name myself that?
I don't know.
I'm always-
Our graphic designer had great difficulty. I think you actually have one less letter than Dodger's name, so it's okay.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
okay.
either, in most games, I'm either Gamer or Gmer. One or the other, because it just doesn't fit all the way. And PBG is always taken, so I can't use it.
That's pretty true.
My
All
name
right,
was always
folks,
Baller.
we're done. That
Kidding.
was
Okay, bye.
Game Station Podcast. This VOD, those of you who missed anything, this VOD's actually going to be out on my channel and not Game Station, because Game Station's undergoing a bit of a transformation at the moment. So this will be on the Total Halibut channel for this week only. And we will most likely do the show same time next week, I think. We shall see. We actually have a guest lined up for next week. I think we do, don't we?
We do, I believe.
Should we reveal? Do you want to reveal, Dodge? No, not you. You can come on later. We'll invite you back. It's all right.
I just wanted to pretend to be like offended.
Angry Joe from Angry Joe Show.
I was gonna say you guys should, I was
Yay!
actually gonna say you guys should get Angry Joe next, but
I think he will be a good guest.
I think so.
So he's excited.
That should go
better
well.
than me. That's for sure. So look forward to that, everybody.
Yeah, that should be good. Game Station Podcast, ladies and gentlemen, most likely same time next week, Wednesday at 12 p.m. PST. That's 3 p.m. EST. That's 8 p.m. BST. That's 9 p.m. CEST.
EST.
That's 10 p.m.
9 p.m. bestie.
EST. And if you're not in any of those 5 time zones, screw you. Mostly
Google.
the Aussies. We
Google
don't
it.
care about you. Go away.
Google.
I do.
Game Station Podcast, we're out.
do.
Goodbye. Good and bye.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Diamond Sword has our flag.